Damn, Marzi.
Puppeteering. I don't know, but I'm not steering. What are feelings?
We are back.
My string cut. I need
Back
some
with
feeling.
another one. Cookshort's in the building
How you
again.
doing?
Welcome back, man. It is really good to see you, and I was really happy to hear from you when you reached out.
Of course.
I forget when we were talking.
I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe.
It's been a little crazy. It's sort of crunch time because I'm on my way out over to Mexico, but I did want to bring you in here because you got the new album out.
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know who Cookshort is,
Yes,
and we
you
got
should.
we got Dale behind the mic, the bringer of light. You know him.
Oh yeah.
But you just released a new album, and it has been some time. I mean, it's been like 6 months since I saw you, because when I saw you last, it was summer.
April, right?
Yeah, it was it might have
tail end
been-
of April.
Actually, I think it was the tail end of June.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to have been, because the podcast started the end of May, and then not too
Oh,
long
yeah,
after.
it was a little bit after.
It was a little bit after, because I got introduced to you through, again, shout out to Elijah Bovin.
Yeah.
Guy's killing it.
We actually have a song together.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
have a song
serious?
together now. Yeah.
When did you put it out already?
It's
or-
not out yet. No,
okay,
it's not
thank
out.
God.
It's not
I'd
out.
be
But we do have
pissed
a
if
song
I
together.
missed that. Yeah, so tell us about how you've been, Cook. Give us the lowdown.
I've been okay. I feel like everybody this past year had to learn to adjust to a new lifestyle, just because of like the pandemic and everything.
In so
And-
many ways.
Yeah, and it's just like the beginning of 2020. I feel like I had the craziest year lined up. I had 3 shows between January and February. I had my my album planned to come out in April, and then I had like a crazy show like a week after that, and then I was, there were talks about, maybe hitting a couple shows on the East Coast, doing a little mini tour or something like that. But then COVID happened, and it shut all that down. So I had to, basically make a new plan and be like, I'm not going to be on shows,
Right.
but I still want to put out a bunch of music. And that's
Yeah,
kinda what
talk
this
about
year's
that. Where you lie right now with your plans to go out west, because that was your big thing.
Yeah, so it didn't happen.
It was supposed to already have happened.
Yeah, I was going to move in August.
Oh shit.
So it was going to be like shows all through the year, album drop in April, mini tour, and then I would move. And then, try and network and move from there.
So how would a mini tour function right now in this climate with everything?
I don't think it does unless you're doing something virtual. And I have a couple friends. Shout out Tom. Tom Roche just
Tom
did
Roche.
a virtual play, which I've never, no one's ever seen before. The whole play
Yeah.
was done, over the
How
internet.
did that go? I think I
that's
missed that.
interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. So all the actors were in separate rooms, like houses
course. Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah,
Zoom.
and they performed the whole show. Some of it was pre-recorded, but a lot of it was live.
Oh, you know what? I remember, dude, seeing one that was really freaking funny with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that one?
Oh,
with
yeah,
Matthew
they did
McConaughey,
this,
Shia LaBeouf,
screen reading.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, they're doing screen reading for what was it? That was old movie.
I don't remember the.
Yeah, I forget what the movie was.
Oh, it was so funny. Shia
was.
LaBeouf was trashed, and I think he did the best out of everybody
He committed.
else. He
Yeah, he
was
committed,
totally
that's all.
committed to it. It was so amazing. Oh, what the hell is
Yeah,
his
no,
name?
he's one of my favorite actors.
I'm trying to think of the name. Spicoli. and he's like, you could tell he's definitely listening to music while he's reading the script too.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to.
But
him
yeah.
as an actor is definitely underrated. I think
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fast
Yeah.
Times at Ridgemont High. That's what it was.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, he is. He really is. I have always been a huge fan of Shia LaBeouf, and it was the weirdest thing seeing him like kind of disappear for a while.
I think
What do you think happened?
it doesn't matter if you're a actor, music recording artist, anything. I think you just have a period of time where you're like, I just want to not do this
Yeah,
for a
because
while.
like he
Yeah.
disappeared to the point like people were like trying to find him like by GPS location, and like he just had like a live stream of like a flag, I think, for a while.
Well, he did.
Oh my God!
I know he had
yeah.
like a huge project with 2 other artists, and they were doing a lot of work together. So I think he put his main acting career on hold to do that project.
Yeah. I do also remember like when he was starting to finally get back into it. He did that live stream of him watching all of his movies in chronological order.
Oh
You
yeah,
ever
that was
remember
cool.
that?
Yeah,
That was pretty cool watching him watch his movies for some weird reason. He's definitely an ambassador for art in his own way. You know what I mean?
think every
Like,
artist is.
Yeah, exactly.
Every artist.
Oh, yeah.
Every artist has their own vision, and it's just if you're any type of compatible with their vision, you'll understand.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's actually a really good point. What do you think that is to you? In your journey through being an artist in
Right,
many
right.
ways, because you also act too. For
Yes,
those of you who
I
don't
do.
know, we
I do.
didn't talk. We talked a little bit about it. You did play High School Musical, and
Yeah,
And-
I did. I've been acting since middle school.
Yeah.
And this is like my 11th or 12th year
Yeah.
acting. Even though I didn't really get to act in anything last year. But
what has that been like for you as far as
not being able to act, it sucks.
Yeah, like-
it's like not being able to go to the gym because it's just like
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
muscle I don't get
Can't
to
get your
exercise.
reps in like in that way.
Yeah, and I feel like
And you did mostly plays then, right?
yeah, I did
Yeah.
mostly plays. I've one commercial. And then I have short films that I've written and directed myself, but I haven't
No
acted in
shit.
them. Yeah, those actually will probably be what's coming next. I think
They're not out yet.
they're not out. No.
Oh wow, that's fucking exciting.
Works. Wow, you are a busy man.
Yeah,
I am.
know.
I am.
Goodness.
Dude, well, that's the
Goodness
thing.
gracious.
Art has no bounds, and,
No.
and
Yeah.
I'm sure
And I
it keeps
think
you busy.
Awesome.
that's probably my point with my vision is like I just want to create as much as I can, no matter
Yeah.
what it is. Like I love music, so I want to make music. I love visual art. I love visual storytelling. So that's why
Yeah.
I was like I want to move into short films.
I admire that a lot. It's something I resonate with in a big way because I'm in the same boat as far as that addiction to creating. I like making things that
There's
that
a
have some value. or
serotonin
some-
release. I feel
Yeah.
like once you're finished with something and you're like it's done.
Yeah, and all parts, I'm sure you feel that way about like the part before you start making it, and then when you're starting to make it, and then
Mhm.
when you're finishing it. I mean, these things are all sort of the why.
Right.
You know?
I feel like starting something is like the best and worst part of
Yes.
of the project
Yeah.
because it's like
I agree with
you're
that.
fresh to start something new,
Yeah.
and then as soon as you're in the middle of the start, you're like, I don't know what to do, but you kind of just find your way.
There is some pluses to starting something though, and Nick Acevedo. Are you familiar with Nick Acevedo as well?
The name sounds familiar.
He's from your neck of the woods. He's a great artist as well. And he had a really great point. He says when you're starting something new, the best part about it, or it was in the realm of this. It's not verbatim, but
Mhm.
he said one of the best parts about starting something new is that when you're doing it in that beginning phase, your judgment has yet to touch it.
That's
you
true.
can kind of launch yourself into it, and you can work on something long enough, which most of us do when you're
Mhm.
working on a project or something to put out to the world. There is a certain point where your judgment starts to touch it,
Of
and your
course.
judgment then can kind of get in your way if you let it. That's the scary part, I'm sure. I mean, what's your experience or thought about
Well,
that?
it connects a lot to the album because that album was written.
And your
like-
last album,
Yeah, the one that just released.
I was sad.
Yeah, I was
really
I
sad.
was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, IWRS. That one was written. The majority of those songs were written 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, no
2 or
kidding.
3 years ago. Yeah, and I do that. Most of my music catalog, I'll record a song and it'll just sit on my computer until I think. Excuse me. Until I think I want to put it out. Like I'll listen to a song for like years, literally, before I decide to put it out. And I think I want to stop doing that as much because after you have a song for so long, you start listening to it and you're like, oh, this isn't
Right.
You can always
it's
get
not
better.
hitting.
Like you never.
Yeah, and because this project was super personal to me, it's my actual life that I talk about. It was really hard to say it was done, because those emotions aren't done with me.
Talk about that. What was the emotional backing to that project?
So,
because you could tell there was a lot of emotion
Yeah.
in some of those tracks. Some of them were much more high energy than you would think for what the title was, but in
Right,
its
right.
own respect, it was still very consistent to the theme. And so yeah, I wanted to kind of dig into that because
Of course.
why were you really sad?
So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So
Yeah.
I was in community college still at the time, and my mom wasn't she wasn't acting normal, and
Oh,
you can
no.
kind of tell.
Yeah.
And she had a family gathering, and she told us she was sick. She was diagnosed with cancer, and I feel like from that point, my life hasn't been the same. Because I love my mom with all my heart.
Right.
She beat cancer, and everything was great. But like literally a year after, my father was diagnosed with cancer,
Oh my God.
and it just it sucks, And then
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, are you an only child?
no, I
Okay.
have 2 brothers and a sister.
Right.
Yeah, they're older.
That
I'm
must
the
have
baby.
been such a relief as a family to be able to
Yeah.
be there.
Absolutely. And then cherry on top, while my dad's getting better, my dog dies.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
Yeah,
damn, just
and
what
my
happened?
dad.
No breaks.
Like it was the week my dad came back from Connecticut, the cancer hospital out there,
Mhm.
and one day my dog just had trouble getting up the stairs, and then it was just deteriorating like day after day after that, and then I ended up spending like a crazy amount of money on vet bills trying to just because no one knew what was going on, and then
You didn't know what was wrong with the dog?
No, because it was sudden. It was literally like the next day.
That's awful.
Yeah, no, it was, and he passed away. And then that was like my best friend. You know, I've had that dog since I was maybe 10 years old.
Is there something really wild about that? Like when a dog dies versus like somebody you've known. Like I've had friends who passed away, and the emotion that followed that barely compared to that of like when my cat got hit by a car. Like I had a cat for I don't know how many years at the time. Sally, you remember Sally?
Oh yeah, Sally.
And it was like right. It was just there's a level of innocence to an animal. That like when a human passes away in some respect, it's almost like, well, you understand.
Right, yeah.
When an animal passes away, you have no idea how helpless it felt or was, or it's hard to gauge its emotions in those times.
Yeah.
I feel like so there's a little bit of a disconnect with then supplements.
It's hard too because not everyone
emotions.
treats animals like family members. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
So,
yeah, people treat them differently. It's odd,
yeah,
yeah.
And to me, that was like I wanted a dog. Like my whole existence for a little bit was I just want a dog.
Dude, I was there. I was there. I think everybody was at one point or another. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. I remember I was like, all I wanted was a dog or a ferret for some reason.
Something, right?
Yeah, something. Just something. I ended up with a guinea pig.
Yeah.
My parents wouldn't let me get a dog. They were like, "You're not going to take care of it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I promise I will. You know, like they were doing what parents should do because a lot of people just want things. But then there was one day I found a newsletter, and it was like for a golden retriever, and I was like, this is the one. And it took me like weeks to find this ad because like people have dog ads from like Nebraska, and they'd be like, come pick them up. And it's
Oh,
like,
no kidding.
What do you want me to do?
Some
Yeah.
people do though.
Yeah, no,
Like,
some people
it's
will fly out and
crazy.
go get an animal.
Yeah, we're picking out our dog in Virginia. I'm like, why?
Yeah, we didn't drive like 3 days, but like I'm like 9 years old.
Yeah.
My parents weren't going to drive anywhere to
Yeah,
get a dog.
exactly.
So this one was Connecticut, and I thought it was a push, but it ended up everything working
I
out.
saved this money up from doing chores for my parents. You know what I mean? Like
Spend it all just on the plane ticket.
now you're like, Mom, can you bring me to New Mexico to get this
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua? Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and if people might pay top dollar for that's a crazy thing. Dogs cost a lot of money sometimes, depending on the breed.
And it's like the purebreds are the one that gets sick usually the most because they have been inbred over and over
so
and over.
many
My
times.
girlfriend's dog just passed.
Oh yeah, your dog
recently.
just passed away.
but she would cost $100 off of Craigslist.
Wow.
That's it. German Shepherd,
Yeah.
best dog ever. I had
That's
to have
crazy.
problems.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
we're
shout
scared.
out,
Yeah.
shout out to adopting. That's really
Yeah.
That wasn't even really
honorable.
adopting. That was just finding an ad on Craigslist. Sketchiest thing you
that's
probably
true,
do,
too.
but
Well, you can buy good. If you like snakes too. Somebody turned me on to.
You can get
I know
anything
that's
on
totally
Craigslist,
different.
though.
yeah,
I'm telling
yeah,
you.
if you know where to look. You can
I
get
used to
it.
take care of this
Yeah.
6-foot red-tailed boa,
Mhm.
and the thing was awesome. I mean, it was a fortunate situation that it was a very tame snake because
Right.
you kind of just like any animal have to with its environment and the people who raised it have so much to do with how cantankerous it is or not. You know,
Right,
like if it's
yeah.
gonna snap at you or bite you. And this one was super chill. You could just walk with it around your neck.
Yeah, no, snakes is definitely. We have a snake in the place where I live. It's not my snake, but snakes are dope. Yeah.
So if I were to dive into it, Dave was
Okay.
shaking his head. No,
Nah, I'm good.
Listen,
I'll pass.
there is a very different
do you, but I'll
relationship
pass.
you have with a reptile versus a mammal. That's one thing I did recognize. I had to take care of
I'll
it
take
for a few
I'll
months.
take your
Yeah.
advice.
And
I'll
you
take
take my
your
word
words
for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find out for myself.
I'm telling you though, it's worth experiencing. It was worth experiencing. But yeah, keep going. So after that, what did you do when you?
Once I think, like I said, the cherry on top was my dog passing, and like I still feel like I haven't recovered from that because it was like he was my best friend. Like I walked him, I fed him,
Right.
when he was sick. You know, what I mean,
Talk
I was-
about like a gap, a hole now in your life.
Yeah, and it's just like I can't get that back, and like I still think about him, and it's been, like I said, it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't when he passed away. I was at UMass by now. I wasn't in community college, and I think I just finished my first year, and I was going back for my second year at UMass,
Mm-hmm.
and it was that semester, and I was like, I don't feel like doing school. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, this whole summer was an entire roller coaster, and I got there, and it was just all I could think about was not wanting to be at school anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like I wasted the last like 2 years of my life being at school instead of being with my dog. You know what I mean? Like all those thoughts
yeah,
that you
it
have.
just like saps your motivation. you know?
Yeah, so I was just
Well,
like,
there's a
this
lot
is
of
waste.
habits you had that were developed with your dog. So like now, time to go for a walk became like
I'm just nothing.
You forget like
Yeah.
how much they're entwined with your
Right,
daily
right.
routine. It's crazy.
Right. And then once I was out of school, I didn't want to be at home because obviously it reminded me of my dog. But
Right.
then it's like I want to be around my family. It was just like a lot of stuff.
And of course, since what happened with your family was so recent, it was probably difficult to see them physically, huh?
Yeah, it was everything was
Yeah.
just terrible.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. Well, like you said, you kind of hit the nail right on the head in the beginning of the podcast when you were saying, this has been a year. Well, it was a great year for change. You know what I mean?
It was.
Happy New Year, because it's still sort of the new year,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. But it's really, it goes without saying that, and unfortunately in your case, so many terrible things have happened. But I guess
Well, that wasn't during this period. That wasn't during this year.
Oh,
Like I said,
this
this is a couple years ago.
Oh,
Like
this was a couple years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I got you. Okay.
So this since then though.
Okay. Keep going.
Since then though, it's been, I think, ups and downs because it's like I was done with school, right? And now I get to kind of do what I want for the first time. And like right when I get a job that pays well, save all this money.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna move away and I'm gonna just start fresh.
Do it,
And
yeah.
then COVID.
Yeah.
So it was like
Yeah.
I feel like back to back every time I.
The universe is saying you need to polish up a little bit. Before
Yeah,
you
and
go.
I'm like, are you
Every
serious?
Every
Like-
time you try to pass go, you're like,
Yeah.
no, back to step one. Like,
Something,
go back.
It's
something.
rough,
so-
man. Well, what was aside from the obvious, what was really holding you back from going out west more so than anything else?
I think
'Cause,
that
I mean, you could still technically, just
I
to state
could.
the obvious, get in a car, get your money, get your
Right.
things, and
and just go.
go,
I feel
or a
like
plane
it's
or
not the
whatever.
smart thing to do,
Yeah.
right? Because the whole point of going out there
Was to be able to perform.
was to be
Network, I imagine. too,
acting.
right?
The main thing was acting because
Oh,
like I'm
really?
I feel like I've had enough practice on the stage. I want to see if I can put it on the screen.
Okay, so would you say acting is something more you're more passionate about than music?
I
or-
get this question a lot. It's not that I'm more passionate about either or.
You love
They're both
acting,
me.
not
You
less,
like them
but
for different ways, probably.
Yeah, because
what's that Lord Byron saying I love is you love music not less, but acting more, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like they're not comparable. It's like saying,
Yeah, yeah.
do you like walking or breathing more? It's like,
Yeah.
I like
fair,
both of
fair.
them. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to give up either of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like my first love was being on the stage.
Mm.
So it's like being on the stage and giving an audience a performance that they enjoyed.
Describe that. What is that like? What is that feeling like?
It's like
To be performing, to be out there, people watching.
I feel like you only get it if you're a performer, because it's not a feeling that everyday people even
Yeah,
want.
unless
You know what I
they-
mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
some people are like, I don't want to be in the limelight.
Because
I
I
don't
go
want
up
to be
there, I
featured.
just I
Yeah,
get
it frees
nervous,
up.
and then
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's
then it
nothing
gets
wrong with
bad.
that either.
Yeah,
It's
but
just-
that's-
I gotcha.
Yeah, because it's
hard
like
to relate unless you've been up there.
yeah, it's like saying like, oh, what is it like to hit a home run?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how to explain this feeling.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
when you do it, you'll know. But I guess to put it into words, I feel like I did a good service.
hmm
You know what I mean? It's like the people came out, they left their day, their personal lives to be in here in this moment with
Right.
the rest of my cast members or the bandmates, whatever the situation was. And we all get to be vulnerable in a sense with each other and just experience something that makes you happy, makes you sad, whatever the point of it was, you got to experience that.
Yeah.
And then you get to go home and a lot of people don't think this, but especially actors, we do our performances. Well, I won't say all actors, but we do our performances to make commentary on something. You'll go watch it and you'll go home and you'll think about what you just seen or
Gotcha.
what you just
yeah.
witnessed and how that makes you feel and how you can reflect and put that.
And
into
I
your
feel
normal
like
life.
that should be the goal for not only for rather both theater and movies, because I've never, or in other words, every time I would really rant and rave about a movie, Interstellar was a fantastic example
Yes,
of that. I
it was.
fucking loved that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's a good
I
one.
literally walked out and out loud said to my friend, I feel like I'm a different person right now.
Right.
Like I walked out, I felt like I'm living a different life. Like that's how moving and changing a good piece of theater or film really can change
Right.
you and change your perspective.
And
It's
I-
almost like an indirect course of like wisdom that you catch on to, with when it comes to watching a play.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing a lot of research on storytelling recently because I'm gearing up to hopefully write and shoot my next short film. So I want to just do a lot of research on story structure.
Yeah, where do you do these things with the short films? You said you have a
I did them
couple
while I was
coming
at
out.
school. I did them
Okay.
while I was at school. Yeah. So while I was going to school for theater, I was also going for a film degree. And,
Okay.
I went through these 6 courses, and part of the final was you could take a written test or you can make a short
Are
film.
you totally done with school?
Technically, no.
Where did you go, by the way?
I went to UMass Amherst.
UMass? Okay, I
Yeah.
got
So
you.
there was this. Basically, I need a sign language course to graduate, but HCC has sign language,
Mm-hmm.
but UMass doesn't.
Oh, I got
So I would either have to take a sign language course somewhere else or start another language from like the first course.
Yeah.
And that would be 5 courses of straight language, and I'm not gonna pass that because
Forget that. That's way too much.
yeah, I'm not
that's
gonna
like-
pass Spanish 1 through 5 and then go like
That's
I'm,
like
Yeah.
turning around a path, going back, and then just like
Yeah,
it's
like,
just,
I'm not gonna do that,
pointless.
so.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I have such mixed feelings about the expectation that the education system has on people learning a new language, especially when it's not. I mean, here we're fortunate because there is a lot of people who
Mhm.
speak Spanish fluently, but unless you're really in an intimate relationship, by intimate meaning just frequently social,
right.
it's hard to learn a new language, I always say, unless you're really always communicating with somebody who has that language.
I also, my biggest argument was it was degree based, so not every degree had to take a language.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
So that's why I was like, you guys gonna stop me
Yeah.
for this one class? And they were like, well, I think it's because they viewed it as like an arts degree, so it's like I didn't put in as much work as like a science degree or like anything else, so I have to take a language to prove. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
like
I
quantize
mean,
it, but it was
yeah.
just like
Well, that's how I felt because I went to HCC and I took theater for
Mhm.
some time. Believe it or not, introductory. I only got to theirs. It was like 1 semester, but it was required to pass that semester or whatever. I needed to take a math, and it's and people always give me like, oh well, it's like, what is the point of algebra? Algebra is a skill. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It
yeah.
is a skill, and
Right,
and
right.
I'm not hating on algebra, but to say somebody needs to learn it is a little like saying you have to learn the violin. Like, I love new skills, and
Right,
if I
right.
could have chosen, I would have chosen an instrument over math.
I think everyone chooses instruments over math.
Yeah,
I
like-
probably would
Most
too,
people-
yeah.
even
I'm not
like-
even good with
I know some
instruments, and I
people
probably
who
would
love
too.
math. I really do. I know some people who really, really love math. But my point is, how much that might stifle your ability to progress in the field that you want to if you're really just terrible at it. Especially like because I did 3 different things for 3 different semesters, and one of them I was really into literature and creative writing, and I still needed that
The math.
math.
I had a great professor at HEC. Shout out Tim Cochran. He was actually the director of the Tom Play, the online.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so
Is
he was
that
the
still
director.
up? I gotta check that out. now.
I
It's
don't
gotta
know
be
if they have
somewhere.
if they like screen capped it while they were shooting.
Oh, it
just
was
like
all
a
live.
live-
Or I think it might have been all live. But
Damn it.
hopefully he'll do it again. But he always told me because I had the same thing. I'm like, I don't care about these other subjects. I just want to learn how to act so I can do that. And he
Right.
told me no matter what you're doing, always try and push it back to acting. So if it's like, all right, you're sitting in a math class, how do you make that math class about acting?
Right.
If you're sitting in a science class, how do you make it about acting? Because acting, half of it is movement, the other half is knowledge, right?
Right.
Because if you don't know what it is to be sad, how can you act to be sad?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good.
And you can act and be sad, but the audience also has to buy it,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just believability, and you only get that through learning what it's like to actually be in those positions.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
Like if
I
you
mean,
ever have to if you have to play a role where you know math really well, it's like it's a good thing you took that algebra
Right.
class.
I mean, the
you know?
credit is like I'll be honest. Like,
Right.
Well, speaking because like my girlfriend's parents are deaf, so
Mhm.
she knows she's fluent in sign language.
Okay.
But like, you never know. Like you were just saying, like you could get a role like with sign language. And
Right,
stuff,
right.
And
Right.
You never know.
Because
You could even get a job doing it if you're good enough at it. You can
Yeah.
just get a
And they
job
make
doing it, yeah.
bank.
Yeah,
They make
they
a
make
lot
a
of
lot
money.
of money.
Yeah.
what's that? ASL?
Yeah.
ASL,
The only
yeah.
thing
No
is
kidding.
you just can't have hand tattoos, and you can do it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
As
that
long as you
makes
don't
sense.
have hand tattoos, you can make bank. They do it for court, like everything.
But they will catch
yeah.
you if you're faking. They
Oh yeah.
will,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
they
yeah.
will
They'll
get
catch you real quick.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's only a matter of time. But yeah, it's funny you say that too, because that's a really specific one. Because even if I were to try to fake it, like that's
You think you're doing it right, and maybe like in
Yeah.
a play, like most people won't, but you'll probably have a couple people like watching your play. They'll be like,
Oh yeah,
no,
and you'll get
Well,
the letters,
yeah,
the
yeah.
emails, and
you
like
got
the
it.
calls.
I'm
yeah.
sure if you were an actor and you had to play a part who somebody who knew how to do ASL,
anything
you'd have to learn it.
anything that sensitive, a good director will call somebody
Like,
in.
have you ever seen Portlandia with Fred Armisen?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, there's an episode where they do just all sign language, and like
Mhm.
my girlfriend loves that show. But
Right,
we
right.
watch it, and I'm like, "How is Fred Armisen's sign language?" She's like, "It's not bad. Like he's good, but you can tell he's not used to it."
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's like being
one of those
fluent in
things.
any
It's
Like
other
an
language.
accent.
Yeah,
Wow,
it is.
that's interesting.
And there's
Holy
different
shit.
languages on top of it. Like my girlfriend knows Russian sign language because her parents
Yeah,
are Russian,
it's
but also
ASL is
English.
American Sign
Wow,
Language.
yeah,
So
right,
like
exactly,
each
so-
letter
But
has
it
a
like blows
different-
your mind when you start learning
Other
about
ones.
it. It's
Yeah.
very
So there is no
not to go down a hole in sign language.
universal.
There
sign- well,
is, but
good
it's
to know.
it's like the difference between different Latin languages and different.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Gotcha.
like they similars, but
And
Yeah,
then
so
they have their
ASL
own,
only applies
uh,
to the United States.
Typically, for what I know, yeah, like for people that can speak like English, yeah, from what
Oh
I've, yeah.
wow.
But on top of it too, different people, like groups of deaf people, I guess, have different like they'll have nicknames for each other. So like it could be as simple as just like a gesture of like pointing to your cheek or something. So like they have
Oh.
like a, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but
it's like a slang.
Yes,
almost.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, like they have their own kind of way of talking. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very interesting.
What's the deepest like you've ever had to commit to a role as far as parts and function?
That's a good
Like you know what I
question.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to play I don't know a teacher and
Right,
did you
right.
observe maybe a teacher you liked very much or something like.
So I think my first year at UMass, I wasn't gonna do theater at UMass because I
Sort
had
of like
this.
referencing, how far Jim Carrey has gone in some roles.
Right,
We're all
right.
familiar.
Yeah.
He'll just lose his mind in it. And
I had to play a character from a play called Jesus Hopped the A Train. I had
Okay.
to play a character called Lucius, and he was a serial killer, and he didn't feel bad about what he did, and like he would just talk his mind. And when I was first learning the part, it was super hard because I would be saying these lines and they weren't believable because I was saying them. You know what I mean? It's like the way he spoke, the way it was written, I had to truly believe what I was saying and to know that I was right in what I was saying. So I
you
think
had to kind of put your mind into
Yeah, and it's-
that of a murderer.
a serial killer, yeah,
So-
and a delusional one at that. And the whole play, I was talking to another character, and we just had debates back and forth, and you had like this clear mind versus this one that was already like cast away in darkness and wasn't coming out, and it was an interesting dynamic. Every night I performed that. By the end of it, I was tired. It's
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Let's say because you were forcing yourself to really. I mean, I guess that's the case in all acting is forcing yourself to be somebody or finding a way to be somebody who you're not.
Is that like
That's also
like
the
method
fun.
acting, right? Like
Yeah.
when you get really
It depends. Like there's like method acting is a term, and then the practice of method acting is something different. Like if you could say method acting is like, oh, this character's drunk, so I'm gonna get drunk, and then I'm gonna just say the lines, right?
Yeah.
That's not true.
But then
method
there's like a
acting.
Daniel Day-Lewis who like gets
Oh,
into his
yeah,
role.
yeah.
Right,
like,
right.
gets
You'll have
into
someone
him,
who
yeah.
who interviews alcoholics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who are alcoholics, they'll follow them around. Like, there's definitely different levels.
Or like you said with Jim Carrey, what was the
Oh, there was Andy Kaufman.
yeah,
Yeah.
He went on the set. Andy Kaufman, he would just walk around as Andy Kaufman.
yeah, like
he wouldn't
that's
answer
true
his
method
Jim.
Yeah.
acting. Like
That's-
every
He
time
was-
you saw him, he was.
that
was
blows my
him.
mind because that's going to do something to
And
your
there-
head.
there-
like,
It is. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
It
It's not
can't
the
be.
best. It's
like
you
saying
get quick
for you.
results that
Yeah.
way.
Like you were saying for you just like exhausted after playing
Yeah.
someone else. Like I could only imagine having to like go fully into it all the time, like playing it all.
I feel like it's a method acting, and then there's other different methods, and for some reason I can't think of them off my head. They're tool bag. It's a tool bag for an actor.
Gotcha.
If you have a scene where for that split second you need to go there or be in that mindset,
Right.
you can. You know what I mean? But you don't always want to stay there because it's like taking your work home. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't want to go home and be like, well, I'm
You could get
I'm
stuck
actually
there.
sad.
Yeah, that's a scary
so
thing.
It's very dangerous. People like acting can be a dangerous thing, especially
Yeah.
the
Well,
early acting teachers and
The-
how they treated their students. So.
the action of force, like for instance, say what's that thing you can do? They say, oh, if you want to be happy, like smile. You can change your perspective and emotions based off of what you do and how you do it. So, and I feel like in the same way with acting, that can sometimes exacerbate certain parts of your emotions that you might not want.
Of course, sometimes you have to go
and you have
home
to
and
deal
just
with that.
be by yourself for a little bit because you're like, I
Yeah.
just gotta come down. But a lot of it, if you have a good cast, good crew, like you get that all out before you even leave the building.
What do you think the hardest genre is to perform?
I feel like that's per actor. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's
mean? 'Cause, like
everybody. Well, for you.
for me, I guess
Yeah.
I would
I mean, plays seem really hard. Like any sort of live action, like where you're in front of the audience, whether it's like skits
Well, I've
or
heard
plays,
like
that's
comedy.
But the thing
really
is, you
tough.
don't even
too.
notice the audience.
Yeah.
Like, depending on the venue, you can only see the first 2 rows. So if you can handle 14 people in your face, you'll be all right.
But all the fact, like, I would see, well, of course, you're season 2, but I would think in back of my head, like, I don't want to fuck up because, like, you only get one chance at it. You know what I mean?
So you can't fuck up if you have a good scene partner. People don't remember that. You
you guys improvise, like, kind of improvise, or?
Yeah, it's like
Well, you know each other, and you can pick up on when
yeah,
there's a fumble.
I've never the closest you get to people in like 6 months of acting work beats knowing someone for 2 years.
No shit.
Because you can't hide anything. Like if you come in today and you're upset, like we got to deal with this because like I need you to be focused in the scene.
Each other's
you know what I mean? Yeah,
too,
like there is every time
out.
something is going on, you know, because we're blank canvases when we go in there. So if you already come in there with something on, we're all gonna know it. Like you can't hide it from us. We lie all the time. Like if you're upset, I'm gonna know. You know?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So.
And you kind of can pick up on all the different things that because there is that overarching similarity between all actors. I'm sure you can kind of figure out as far as like, I don't know, like you were saying, somebody's in a bad mood and they're trying to hide it. You can pick up on that pretty quickly, and you also know at least a few good ways to remedy that. I would
Absolutely.
assume.
And most of the time you just need to talk about it, and then after they talk about it, you put it away, and then you get to be your character. That's honestly the best part about it sometimes. It's like no matter the type of day you had, I get to go and just go be like another person.
I'm sure that must be
it's like a release
an
almost.
absolute like field day for you when you're performing music.
Of course,
that
they
has
blend in
to
together.
tie in.
Yeah, because I always give myself on stage. I never try and be anything else, but I also try and elevate myself too, because it's like I said, people came here, they want a performance, so I got to go hard. Every performance I've ever done, I've always given 1,000%.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. There's 2 people in the audience. Doesn't matter if there's 1,000. Like,
now, do you find it easier? Just curious. Do you find it easier to perform when you rap or whatever, compared to doing plays, because you get to fully be yourself, compared to being like a character?
It's a good question. I think.
I know, I asked you a really good one. I was just,
Okay, so I think it may be rapping, because I don't, in the back of my mind, have a million thoughts about the moment and am I being true with the character in this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I get to just be myself. Yeah,
there's no lying in a sense when it comes to music too.
Yeah, I get to just,
very
and
natural.
that's how I like my music.
Yeah.
And I think because I act so much, that when I do music, I want it all to be truthful, because it's like I get to do everything else on the acting side.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's just it. You can your acting per se, I would assume, on the stage has more to do with that. What would you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. It's more of a parasitic. It's more of a parasitic flow to the music itself, so you can kind of not have to worry about where you are and what you're doing physically. You can rely on the music to be the main mover.
You just get into it.
Actually, it's the audience.
The
believe
audience.
It or not. Believe it or not. Because it's like, if you're performing a song, you already like it.
Yeah.
And you already think, or you should be thinking, that the audience is going to like it.
Right.
So it's the moment of truth is when you first start rapping. And I feel like, I don't know, it could just be me, but like you're looking out in the audience to see, like, are they engaged with the first 30 seconds of the song? Because if they're not, then you need to change something. You don't want to do a full 2 minute and 30-second song and the expression or the feel in the room is the exact same.
What's your biggest takeaways from performing? I mean, the size of your biggest performance per se, or something like that.
I want to say my biggest performance was the Iron Horse in Northampton.
Nice.
I was opening up for Dylan, and there had to be, I don't know, there wasn't enough space to get around. I know that. I don't know the number.
That place gets packed.
Yeah,
I've been there for a couple.
The top was full. The pit was full. It was a great performance. That one's probably one of my favorite, because it was so easy just to have fun in that environment.
Yeah.
You know? And everybody was for it. Everybody came there.
That place is such an untraditional venue to what you might think a venue is, in my opinion, at least. It's like,
even Pearl Street is too.
Yeah.
Well, Pearl Street's more. It's definitely
open.
That's a venue. Like, that's what you would expect in
it's
my
still
mind.
Small
anyways.
though. Like, you don't. I don't know.
It's
like,
small
downstairs
until you try and fill it, and it's like, all right, we got 300 fucking tickets.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, upstairs is pretty. And you'd be surprised the people that pass through there. I mean, I saw Hobson there. Were you with us? No.
Not for Hobson, but I remember you guys went to that.
You familiar with Hobson?
Of course, yeah.
He was there. I forget who opened for him, but man, it's amazing how much significant talent there is in that town. And you said you're from East Hampton?
No, Chicopee.
You're from Chicopee.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Springfield, raised in Chicopee.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. So how does this, where we are now, tie in with your latest album? I mean,
Okay,
we're going
kind of gone all over the place.
It's all right. It
Well,
happens.
it all
I feel
makes
like I've
sense.
derailed
It
this a
all
couple
makes
times.
sense.
It happens when you talk to me, like my friends, like if we ever like in a car and I'm like getting out the car, it's always me that's like, hey, so what about this? And it's like another 2-hour conversation.
Yeah, I know, it's tough.
It happens.
You do a lot of different things. I'm curious.
Yeah. So and yeah, ask away. But no, back to the album. So my first semester back after like I'm blessed to have both my parents, but I lost my dog.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, I'm glad.
Yeah,
the
no,
story
I
went there as
I don't
far as
even
your
know where
parents
I would
go.
be
It
right
was,
now if
like
I
was
three,
scared right there. You're gonna drop that bomb. And
It's terrible.
It's
Yeah,
scary,
no,
bro, it's super scary.
So there's a lot of times where my roommates are like, hey, you want to go out? And I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna just stay in. But I kind of liked it because I had the whole dorm to myself to kind of just record and belt out these personal songs. I think the first 2 songs done on the project was Titanic.
Alone time's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But also don't fall in love with alone
Don't
time.
fall. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I've been there. I've
yeah,
been there.
it's super easy just to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I can do whatever I want
And
whenever
then you're
I want.
annoyed
Yeah.
by people who are around you.
It's very
not
easy for me to do
it's
that
a
myself.
Vicious
Yeah, you
cycle.
gotta come out of it. So, first 2 songs done on the project, and like I said, this is 3 years ago now.
Wow, that's crazy. They're from that far back.
Yeah, like I said, I hold on to music for too long, but so I think I did Titanic first, and after I listened to it, I was like, this is something, and like usually when I make a song, it either goes in 2 folders, right? It goes into the projects folder or it goes into this is just going to be a single. And it doesn't mean like one song is worse than the other. It's just how I'm feeling about it, and it was so personal. The feelings were fresh. So I was like, this is something special. And then I wrote Pinocchio.
Pinocchio was a hit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You gotta check. You gotta check it out. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You're on Spotify, right?
Yeah, Spotify.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta download that.
Blasting off on Spotify.
Thank you.
I mean, we can dig into that later, but I
Yeah.
wonder how much of Spotify is part of your career, at least from a financial standpoint. I mean, do you get?
It's like we
not
don't have to
much.
get into it because it's not that much.
It's
no,
not that
I
much,
think,
but it's something. I would assume.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's. I can go get a meal if I wanted to.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
That's
Yeah, that's all that matters, right?
You like
If
it
I-
more for
It's
just the fact it
insane.
reaches more
It's
people
insane
that way?
though that
yeah, because like
because
for me, the money isn't the money. Any money that I've made off music, I 100% plan to reinvest into the music. So that's why I don't even count it.
Yeah, true.
You know what I
true.
mean? Like even the couple hundred I made, like I just plan on just putting
Still,
it right back
it's
into.
impressive because we're looking at hundreds of thousands of streams, right?
Yes,
I mean,
but they're all fractions of a penny. So it's like, yeah, I think 1 million views on YouTube is like $1,000. So it's like it's not
Yeah.
equatable like people think it is.
Right,
you know?
right.
You have to reach to make money. I think on Spotify you have to get 1 million streams a day or some shit like that.
Oh,
or
wow.
1 million streams a month or something like that. Yeah. To make
Jesus.
a living,
Mm-hmm.
unquote, quote. So, but yeah, so no, so I made Pinocchio.
Yep.
And then I also was like, this one's amazing. So I was like, I'm just gonna make a 4-song EP. These 2 will be the highlight songs, and then I'll put it out because I was just, like I said, I was feeling all these emotions. Just wanted to get them out and then be done with it. So I wrote the 4 songs, and it was I had a song called First Take Intro, and it was just a freestyle. I pressed the record button, I just
Nice.
belted out a bunch of stuff. The second song was Titanic. Third song was Pinocchio, and the 4th song was Still Sad, and actually had 2 verses on it at the time. So and the second verse wasn't really a verse; it was more of a it was just a breakdown of like depression and like what each stand for and like
Right.
how to not get trapped in all of it. Ultimately, I scrapped it for the final version because I was just like, I don't want to end the album on a down note. Like even like when I made the song, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Oh blah,
Right.
like this is how I'm feeling, this is whatever. But I was like, as I've grown and listened to it, I was like, I don't want to end it like this. So I ended up taking that out. So now
That one was a little too much.
I was just like, when I wrote it, I wanted people to feel sad at the end of it, but that was just like a kind of bitter.
Yeah, too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, this is the whole point of this project, blah blah blah, and I was like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It's not what I want the focus to be. So I had that, and I was like, all right, cool, I have this project wrapped up, and then I had all in my head, like 60% done. So I had these 2 projects all in my head. I was really sad, and then I have like a 3rd project that kind of dissolved into a bunch of singles, and we'll get into those too. because they led up to the
Yeah,
album.
I want to pick your brain about this because, again, shout out to Nick Acevedo again. He had made a really good point on the difference between going for the album or just working on the one song. Because sometimes, like, kind of where you're at least describing your thought process in the entire album, as far as vetting which ones you want in, which ones you want out. Do you find that your quality of production is changes at all when you focus maybe on just a single versus
I treat
pretty much everything like a single,
except the album stuff.
Yeah.
I view myself as an album artist, and I always wanted that to be the main goal.
Well, that I was gonna say that is definitely apparent, like, and not in a really awesome way.
Thank you.
Because no, not in a bad way. I don't know anything about music, so, like, in that sense. So I'm not have any kind of understanding in that sense. But, like, from what I've listened to and diving into your stuff, my point is that you are so good at maintaining a theme within the albums.
Thank you.
And you can kind of tell, oh, this is from this album.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of something cool. And it's something we were talking about, like how it's something that is almost lost with a lot of artists, that now it's sort of a single-based thing.
I've listened to plenty of albums in the past from just different artists, different bands, and it's like they have one or two good hits, and then it's just filler. It's like,
I think it's the streaming.
Yeah.
Right. Me, how I view it is like, all right, I want to make art. And I know I'm not going to get paid for the art right now.
Yeah.
So why focus on trying to get paid right now?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, it's not why you're doing it. You're doing
quality
it 'cause you
over
love
quantity.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if I put good art out there, most likely I'll get paid for the good art because it's good, right? So it's like, don't focus on trying to make money right now. Unless, I don't know, everyone has their different focuses. But I think if you focus on the art itself, then you'll end up where you want to be ultimately. Because it's
huge.
Like,
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Too often do people put that monetary weight on something, like, oh, how are you going to make money off of it?
I feel like you can't treat it like a job. It's not a job.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not a job until it is.
Don't call it work
Yeah.
either. It's something more than that. You know, I feel like, in other words,
you can maybe call it a career. Like, I think a career may be better, but, like, it's not like you can't.
I hate those words on this type of thing, because it's like I was reading this book, right, and it was a book on how right brain people can succeed in the left brain world, because right brain people are typically the creatives, one that, you know, they think about the small details, blah blah blah. Left brains are I think
logic.
I said that
Logic.
Yeah,
oriented.
logical,
No, you
big
have
picture
that
stuff
right.
like that. So
I always think
most of the
R,
world,
random, L, logic.
Logic, yeah. So most of the world is built on go to school, get a job, live happily ever after, boom, that's fine. And
get a house, get a kid.
Everything like that, right?
Yeah.
But anything that's opposite of that, or like that isn't perfectly in
You're
that,
a
everyone's
loser.
Like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing with your life? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Why
But
aren't you doing something?
As soon as you make it doing that
dude,
thing, everybody's
I
all
hate
like,
that shit.
oh, I wish I could be you.
Yeah,
I wish
like, wow,
this.
it's gonna be so cool. Like,
Yeah, and it's like, you
Right.
could do it too.
Well, what they do is
and they just assume it's easy.
That's the number one killer.
like what your creativity yields in that long run is all that people see. They don't see what it took, to
Right.
create
Long
those
nights,
songs,
like,
the long nights,
Yeah.
the you taking a day for yourself because you're just so drained from your performance.
Right,
There's
yeah.
just a ton of different things, and then my point is that it's easy to go, well, of course he should have done music. Look, he's so good at it later in life, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that support doesn't come.
I'm sure when I first started,
that abundance
everyone
now,
in the back of their head was like, he's either not going to keep doing this or he should stop.
Right.
And it's cool because it's like, I don't know. It's like everyone has an opinion on what everybody else should be doing.
Yeah.
And it's just
That's
like,
true.
just do what you want to do.
Yeah,
Because
seriously.
if you don't do it, people are going to say, I knew you couldn't do it. And if you are doing it, people are going to say, I can't wait till you quit. So it's like, if people are going to talk shit either way, you might as well just live your life and do what
Just
you
be your
want.
motivators.
Yeah, so.
I know. I always preach about that because it's so often you'll see either people doing it for the wrong reasons, for instance, like for the money or the fame, and they don't really have that connection to what it is.
I also think I have mixed feelings about that, because it's like I've come to realize not everybody does what you do for the same reasons that you do them.
True.
And it has to be okay, because if everyone did everything what for the reasons you were doing, what you were doing wouldn't be unique.
I get what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with loving
Money
or
yeah,
fame.
because it's like that's how the world works. But it's like,
But
I feel like what the people champion should be different.
But what I'm not saying, So I guess in that, and this is something that shows a lot with your work and a lot of people who I can tell who care about their work. My point is there's such a big difference between somebody who really cares about what they do and their level of success and somebody who really cares about the outcome of success more.
Right.
If you care more about the outcome of success than what it takes to do it, then sometimes it might stifle your ability to get what you want. You know what I mean?
Too.
So it's a level of meditation in that sense. It's like focus on the now. Don't worry about what this might yield one day. Worry about putting your time, your energy, your love into that, because that all the rest comes.
It does. If you truly care about what you're doing, the rest always follows.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So because I'm sure you meet lots of people along the way. You can tell they're a little just more about the wrong things, and it makes it difficult for them to be genuine.
Of course. I mean, I meet people all the time who are
maybe too
wanting
ahead
to
of
do
themselves,
acting or music, and they'll ask me, and just in that conversation, I can tell. Not judging them, but just, my experience with so many people that they're probably not 100% into it, or they're probably they probably don't have that spark. And the more conversations you have with them, the more that becomes apparent. And I've tried to help out people, and then they just become disinterested, and it's like, okay, so it's just like that's how.
And that's just it. People can be very headstrong, and it's easy to make a song, and again, ego's the enemy, is what I'm kind of saying with that. The ego can really get in the way with it.
It's the worst thing you can have.
It's good to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder because that's self-esteem. But the point is that if it's to the point where it's not allowing you to collaborate with other people or respect other people or respect your own process.
If it inhibits you from getting advice, simply just getting advice from other people, then you need to think about toning it down.
I think, everyone has their opinion on like the local scene, my local hip hop scene or whatever. And I think, egos aren't all that has to do with it. I think, like, all right, I guess for an example, I've had this creative dream, I guess, for the last couple of years to like just get everyone in my area and just do a collaboration album, right?
Oh my God.
Because I think
that'd be so cool.
If one person pushes one song, it does fine. But if 10 people push one song, then
who shared that thing with Cam Meekins? Did you share that?
I think I did.
Dude, that was awesome.
Or was it me? I don't know. I share a lot of stuff.
Did you share that? It was, gosh, I forget.
I've definitely seen it around though. I know what you're talking about. But the thing stopping that I think is like if I hit up one person and I ask them, "Hey, do you want to do this project?" Like I can almost guarantee it'll probably be a no, or like or some type of resistance, because no one wants to be a fan of everybody. And everybody wants to, like, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of superficial walls that I think that are holding back collaboration in my area, I should say. I shouldn't say everywhere. Because, you have collaborations that, like Internet Money, they're a producer group. And there's like a bunch of producers living in a house. And now they have a bunch of songs all over the charts. And it's because they're working together, collaborating and stuff. Collaboration, I think, is one of the most underrated tools that musicians don't use. If you think of every other art form, like collaboration is the main component. Like if you want to make a movie, you can't make it by yourself. You have to have someone holding the camera.
You get like, I don't know, like simple things. Like I like Tech Nine, and he did a song with Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and like two different opposites, like a rapper and some guy from a heavy metal band, and they like connected. And it was a great song, but it brings together two opposite groups that like
it does, and both of those people become better after. And I don't know. I wish collaboration was more.
I absolutely agree. You're right, because I mean. Right back to that saying, teamwork makes the dream work. But it's also a perfect opportunity to learn about yourself, about others.
Absolutely.
How do you know how good you are at something without knowing how good somebody else is at it, or what or their take on it? Like I went on Jeff Plouffe's shout out to Can't Handle the Plouffe podcast. I did. I went on his.
I know you did.
It's funny. It's a funny name.
That name is just hilarious.
And,
holy shit.
And it was really interesting to see how his setup was. Or I went on Inappropriality there in Enfield. Or went over to those guys. Are you familiar with Mike Torch?
I'm familiar with the work. Yeah.
And it was cool to see how they did it. It's always eye-opening to be able to do that. And I could see what you're saying, that if you do not afford yourself the opportunity to work with people, or unfortunately if it's the other way around, other people just don't want to work with you, then it can be just so detrimental, because it's funny how little everybody has to lose in that situation. It's like nothing.
If we make a song together and it doesn't do anything, it's like we didn't make a song.
Yeah,
so it's like
so what?
It happens. But like the flex or the practice, I also think is super important, because if someone only makes a song once a day, they can't get as great as the person who's making like 18 songs a day. And those 18 songs might not be the best, but it's like practice. You know what I mean? Getting the practice in.
It is true. I keep referencing this. I saw a really great video with Gary Vaynerchuk. Are you familiar with him?
Mm-hmm.
He was in like this conference with Kyle, the rapper Kyle.
Okay, yeah.
And he blew Kyle's mind, because he blew my mind too. I was like, holy shit, that's such a great point. He goes, timing is objective, quality is subjective. So like you kind of said, if you can do 18 songs in a day versus somebody doing one song in a week, they got 18 chances to practice in that one day.
And you only took the one. For that whole week. So maybe the product is a little bit more polished and fine-tuned, whatnot, but the level of experience is,
it's just, you just don't get the same level of experience.
For those two people, they could be in two different situations too.
Yeah.
You could have that one artist making that one song a week who's like already figured out his formula, and now he just takes his time doing that one song, versus someone who's trying to figure out their sound. So it's like there's no right or wrong way to do.
No, yeah,
anything.
That's a good point too. That's certainly not what I'm saying.
No, I was just
I know. No, I like that you emphasize that, because it is so true. Because there are so many different ways to do something, and the main thing about pretty much everything we're talking about, I feel like, is not to doubt yourself or give up on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Be open and be consistent, no matter what consistency means to you.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing what you love, really.
Absolutely.
So that kind of goes back to making sure you're not doing it for frivolous purposes. You know, you want to make sure this is something you want to do, because that's what is going to make sure you're consistently doing it.
And happy doing it.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not enjoying the process, then how long will that process last?
Right.
Like you said, somebody could, there's a lot of people like, oh, he's probably going to give up one day or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you might.
Yeah, and it's like you said, like as soon as you treat it like a job or a career, that's when it goes.
Yeah, but there's also a level of
like professionality that
you have to take.
Or discipline. That's a better word.
Yeah, there we go. Discipline. I'm happy with discipline.
Yeah.
We don't got to say career.
No.
Yeah.
Discipline is a good word. Well, you make a good point, because I always say that everything you do should be 50% play, 50% professional.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that professional aspect is where some of those more rigid disciplines have to take place, like timing. When your music comes out, when your play comes out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously, if you were doing a play and we'll just do the play whenever, instead of making a deadline.
Oh yeah,
you know
nothing
what I mean?
would ever get done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to have fun with it, because that's really what gets the quality out there. But the project or whatever it is itself to get into the world also needs to have, that structure, that objective structure. In that sense,
Definitely.
But yeah, keep going. So we're out of, where were we with the?
Okay, so now I'm sitting on two different projects.
Three.
Okay, at this point there are three different projects.
Yeah.
And as we know, I went with I finished out my school year. Now I'm back home, and I'm working this train job that I got right now. So now I have excess a little bit of money where I can promote my music and actually go forward with it. So then I start. Top of the year in January, I think I dropped Ruckus, which was a single from All in My Head. Then I dropped Money Prancin' and Locomotive, then the album, and that was when we first talked in April. And then from then I was just gonna do singles the rest of the year. And then I'm on my computer and I see I have IWRS still sitting in a folder, and being under quarantine, not being able to see my family, it's bringing up a lot of these emotions that I was feeling before that I thought I got over, and all these other things. And I was like, maybe now is the time to put this out. So what I did to the third project was I melted it down, and then I just turned them into singles, because I wanted time to. One, I just wanted to put out music right after I was done with the album. I think when I was done with All in My Head, I did 2 remixes, and then they were straight singles, and then till I got ready for this one. So I melted down that third project. There's still some songs that didn't make it out, but then I released. Hold on, I can check my phone so I can be accurate.
Yeah.
I released a bunch of singles after those remixes, and that was. Let me see. Right here.
Do you do all the work yourself, like in house, or do you go somewhere to master your music?
I mix all my music.
Nice.
Now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I taught
Wait,
myself.
do you do this all out of a dorm room?
From
Because you mentioned that before, and I meant to ask you about that. Like,
yeah.
what?
So for most of the music, not most of the music, some of the music, yeah, because I don't live in my dorm room now, so I can't say now.
Well,
but back then I was making a lot of this in my dorm room.
That's awesome. And you do all the whole process in your dorm room, basically?
Yeah. Like I said, I would just wait for my roommates to be like,
That's
we're going
nuts.
to get food or something,
impressive.
and I would
That's
just be like,
impressive.
all right, make a song.
That's one of the things I've admired the most about the creative and digital and production field of art these days. It's like, I mean, even this podcast alone, we have 2 cameras, this thing, and a computer.
Right,
I guess
that's
the
all
mics,
you need.
I mean, you could count a million things, but the point is that it is very,
Digital media is so tangible now.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just about creativity and how you want to put it out.
the quality of the technology is just so high and affordable. I feel like in that sense, or you can really make a great. I mean, this is pretty decent. I mean, we're shy of 2 cameras
It's
of this
alright.
being a
Could be
even
better,
better show. Like if we had like a camera switching thing,
Mhm.
that would be it.
But like I said, time it comes with building.
Comes
You know
with
what I mean?
building.
And you didn't wait till you had those 2 other cameras to start
No,
the podcast.
exactly.
You
Well,
know what I
that's.
mean?
I
Wasn't
think
built
we
in a
talked
day,
about
Mike.
that before. It's like start before you're ready, folks. And I love preaching that and being an advocate for acting on your dreams, because you're never gonna be ready. That's a weird concept.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's you're
100%.
always getting ready. You're always getting better. Like what point does an artist who wasn't an artist become like when was Jay-Z not Jay-Z? You know what I mean? Was
Right, yeah.
Was he just going to go, well, I'm not ready because he's not who he is today?
Right.
Back
No,
then?
you have to
You know,
you
like-
have to start. And I think depending on the person, it's usually an event in their life that makes them be like, I got to do something, or
Mhm.
you know what I mean. And like that comes with a drive, that comes with a push to take whatever they're doing now seriously, or
Yeah.
especially with this pandemic, a lot of people were forced to start a podcast,
Or-
start a
or-
YouTube channel,
yeah.
start something to either bide their time or to hopefully turn into something they could pay their bills with. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I ever count on entirely, but it is something that I want more to be like a passion.
of course, yeah.
I feel like sometimes, as much as it would be nice to make money off of this, I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes, like you were saying, back to the job, the career
Right.
stigma, when you do something because you have to, it's different than doing something because you love to.
Right, yeah.
It's
And I think we all
always
want to get to
gonna-
the point where, like, if I do something and I make money, cool.
Right.
But if I don't, I'm okay with it.
Right. I certainly won't turn down a check.
No, I mean,
For
you
doing
can
this,
say-
Yeah.
for doing this,
Yeah.
sure. Trust me. I mean, that is. It's weird to say it's the goal, because the goal is really to have fun with it. Like if I'm sitting over here and being terribly uncomfortable in the way
Mhm.
I was when I was first starting to do it, that's not what I want. What I really want is to be comfortable and have fun every time I'm sitting in
Right.
this chair.
And if you have fun, you guess it's fun. Everybody,
Everything
and
goes,
then everything
it's-
flows.
Yeah, and then people are like, "Wow, this looked like a great time." You know what I mean? Let's tune in. That's the main part of a podcast, in my opinion, is how there do you feel when you're
Right.
listening to it, and that's something. Like you're saying, the pandemic is something I kind of learned, because I had traveled to Arizona. I told this story a million times, but there I was alone
Mm-hmm.
and just hiking and stuff. But when I'd go home and cook, it was so nice to have a podcast. I'm like, what a great thing to have is just content you can be a part of without having to contribute
Right, yeah.
in that
and
sense.
it goes back to collaboration and just
Yep.
being able to put something out.
Well, that's really the beauty of it, is that every time it forces you to. There's no way I could do this on my own. Some people do. Some people do a one-man show.
Mhm.
I think are you familiar with a few podcasters? I feel like you were talking about somebody who was doing it by themselves, but
Brian Callen does for the most part.
Yeah.
Not Brian Callen, but Bill Burr. I
Bill
think
Burr,
does.
yeah, there's a few of them. Sebastian Maniscalco, like these
Yeah.
comedians. But the point is, where I found the real greatest value was that I get to make something where other people can come in and we can have really cool conversations, and more often than not, like yourself, people who know just so much more about something. And like I was saying before, I know so little about the process of what makes music and how it's produced and how it gets out there, and how to serve it in an album and a single, and
Mhm.
that type of stuff is all so fascinating, because most people just consume and have no idea how it even got to the table.
I just know
Right,
it sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's most of the time we just hope that you like it and then you'll
Yeah.
play it again, so because I feel like for us it's a lot of planning and stuff, but at the end of the day we just really hope you like the song.
Yeah.
So and all that planning goes to giving the listener, the best chance to like the song. You know,
exactly.
Make sure we have nice art. Make sure it's released on not Wednesday at 4:30. You know what I mean?
In
like
the morning.
in the morning. So like
Yeah.
all that extra stuff is really just we're packaging it nice so
Yeah.
that you can have a nice time listening.
Having
to
the
it.
story behind it, making people wonder. I mean, that was the first thing that really intrigued me about your cover art and the name. I was really sad. It's you got a really good. What is behind your cover art? It looks like
we
a
can definitely get into it.
dystopian future with a coldness, but you really capture that.
So there are 3 areas in the cover art, right? So if you look hard enough, you can see the sky,
Yep.
Space, and you can also see the ocean.
Oh, really?
And I chose all 3 of those spaces because they're all spaces you can feel like you couldn't breathe in. Space you feel like you can't breathe.
Yeah.
You go too high up in the air, you feel like you can't breathe. Yeah. And in the water, you can't breathe. And I just wanted, I know for myself, when I'm feeling anxious or sad or whatever, I feel like I have this overwhelming feeling like I can't breathe, I can't escape, I can't leave. So
That's scary.
In the title, I was really sad. It's just. It just fit the project. Like, I feel like I'm definitely not where I was when I was writing these songs, but like, I'll never be able to.
It's part of
be
the
100%.
theme. It'll
Yeah.
forever be part of that theme.
So, and it's just it's part of who I am as an artist now. It's part of.
Well, something you said back what really was great too, just in this podcast today. You were saying how there was a level of depression in your life in that, and I feel like it's really important to emphasize that that's something that you go through personally, because I'm sure there's plenty of people who look up to you in that sense. But my point is that more often than not, those who are experiencing that do not realize that they are not alone. They often can think that it's only happening to them. I've talked to so many people.
Of course,
I've
feel
been
like
there.
that's just like honestly, that's just the bare bones of depression. It's
Right.
just feeling alone and feeling like no one's gonna understand.
Exactly.
And that's why I wrote this project, because I wanted people to know that they weren't feeling this way. It's like it's weird. It's like I would be feeling this way, thinking like, oh, I'm by myself, no one's gonna help, blah blah blah. But then I would go write a song, hopefully to help someone else feel that they weren't, so they didn't have to feel how I was feeling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like emphasizing too a lot, is that depression and anxiety are very natural. Obviously, there are clinical extremities to those symptoms, but the point is that everybody has ups and downs in their life.
Yes.
And they come at you in a physical, a chemical, a spiritual way more, so many times throughout your life, because that is really what defines the greatest moments of your life.
It's the human condition.
Yeah, it's always like this, and all things sort of come at us in that way in this reality, and I think by pretending that depression and anxiety is a problem, it's the same as depicting the heights and glory and joy of your life being a problem as well, because the two cannot exist without one.
Exactly. The only reason you have such a great time when you do is because
you have something to
subconsciously
compare.
You have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, this is way better than when I was feeling like this.
You know what it's like when, like, for instance, when your dog died. You know what I mean? That's not something you would ever consider to be awesome.
No, never.
Like ever.
You crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. So. But I'm saying it's just that's I feel like such a fantastic perspective to adopt, because you can almost overcome anything when you start to recognize the why on what's happening to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I
think that's another biggest fault of mine, though, because coming from an acting background and being able to understand why people are feeling the way they are feeling, I understood why I was feeling the way I was. I talk about it on the song "Still Sad."
Yeah,
like I get why I'm feeling this way. It's just aggravating that I'm still feeling this way. And it's like, if I thought the whole point was understanding why you feel this way, and then you get over it, right?
Yeah. Right.
But it's just like I'm still stuck in this whole like, all right, I get it. Like,
yeah. How long ago was it that? Is this just a combination of what happened to your parents? And
a combination of everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, life isn't perfect anyway. So it's like a pandemic happening. Then I was like, am I gonna have a job? But then my job called me back. And then, it's just there's a lot of stuff.
For you, I want to ask too, because just being in the health industry for myself, I always like asking people. I mean, what do you do about this, from at least a physical standpoint, with like diet and exercise and some,
my diet is terrible now.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but it's different. It's not because of the pandemic. I think it's working this factory job. Like, I think before I started working this job, I had fast food maybe like once a month.
Yeah.
I have it way too often.
It's just easier
because it's so much easier, and like we have such a small break there's a million people trying to leave for lunch. So it's just like everyone's racing to go to BK. And it's like, I don't even want BK, but I want to eat today. So it's
dude,
like,
I'll tell you right now.
I got to start meal prepping. I really do.
Do something. I like emphasizing that a lot because I know exactly where you're at. Like I'll even go, I'm gonna have Chinese food today because I really like some, but it can hit me in such a way that it lasts a day or two where I noticeably am just like energetically.
Before you know it, he's just going through pork fried rice.
Pork fried rice and crab rangoons. No, but my point is that I don't think within society, like for me to be talking about this now, there's a level of hokiness we kind of all have, like, yeah, you eat okay. But my point is that what you eat from, it can immediately affect your epigenetic system.
Absolutely. The stomach is the second brain.
Exactly. And there is so much going on inside of you, and all of it. And I mean, like 100% of it is completely correlated to the way you eat and you sleep and you move, right? If you stop moving and stop sleeping.
Let me eat my McDonald's and leave me the fuck alone.
I do have a plan. I was going to wait till I moved because it's going to be a lot easier. But then I also wanted to wait a little bit because I wanted to try a bunch of the foods out there. But I do plan on going vegetarian and vegan at some point in my life and probably staying that way.
Well, honestly, I encourage you to just do the research for it. You know what I mean? On the same regard, that those things are great. A lot of obviously the food options within being vegan or vegetarian are super great, but there's so much nutrients within meat as well that is
fantastic. Of course. I just don't think I don't know. Sometimes I'm eating meat and I'm like, I don't even want, like, I lost like the love for it. So I was like, if I'm feeling this way, then I know it's only
I like it once in a while. It's good when you don't have it a lot because then it tastes better when you do have it.
So.
Well, you find that meat's nutritional value comes mostly not from what kind of meat it is, but where that meat came from.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like if it's a factory farmed meat, not so great. If it's somebody
emotional state of the animals too also
huge.
Pours a lot into.
Well, that's I think the biggest takeaway that nobody talks about is that when especially when mammals are being gotten up to slaughter, they all know what's going on.
Yeah, cows aren't stupid,
and they're panicking, full throttle, just panicking. So that's just their amygdala is just going nuts. They're releasing tons of adrenaline into their body and cortisol and just freaking out. So if you are, if you have the luxury, and if you're lucky enough, of course, to know somebody who hunts, that's like the best kind of meat you can get because you have an animal that was living a real life and then just died abruptly without that panic. So I think that's where a lot of these terrible side effects to meat do come from.
Of course,
believe it or not.
They're not eating actual, like you're eating grass, but it's like genetically modified
grass.
Some
of them don't even
grass. I think it's
then they
grain.
get genetically modified corn, grain. It's just this is a factory.
Chickens, I've heard they recycle the meat. They'll throw the chickens back into the kibble. The chickens eating the kibble and the chickens, and then it's like you got these weird like creatures that aren't chickens.
You're gonna ruin McDonald's chicken nuggets for me, aren't you, Mike?
That's not even meat. I am
fresh.
Completely 100%. I believe that McDonald's does not sell meat anymore. Why would they? You can make something that tastes like meat out of plants.
Well, it's
much
funny
easier.
that all of these places are advertising like the Impossible Burger now,
like
Burger King.
They've been doing it for years.
It's probably the same thing.
That's
it's the
my
same
conspiracy.
Burger.
They've been doing it for years.
Because they can get sued for false advertising.
That is true. You do have a point. Yeah, because it has to meet.
If a vegan had an Impossible Burger and it was actual meat, it'd be a wrap.
Yeah,
it'd be a wrap for the whole thing.
That'd be done. You're done.
It'd be done.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. All right, so where are we going here?
So, all right, so then we got the All in My Head comes out. I released the Scots, Deep End Freestyle, which are both songs, remixes. Then I had 2 songs, Overflow and Humble Free. Yeah. Those were already...
Humble Free was so great.
Thank you.
I'm glad you performed that in here. That really fired me up. I was like one of the best. I show that to people all the time. Like when I'm reaching out to artists, I send that to them to go, hey, check this out. If you want to do this after the podcast, we can do something like this, because that was like... It was just... You freaking blew my mind. It always does when somebody starts to perform in here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I finally dropped that. And then we have, excuse me, I'm burpy from the water. We have Thinking About You, 3 a.m. and I Miss You, and Feel Anything. And those 3 were, like I said, originally going to be on another project. But I kind of melted them down and they became singles. But all 3 of those songs got great reception. And they were my tone change going into the sad project. Thinking About You is actually a song I wrote about my dog, believe it or not. But it's also about other people that I had in my life that weren't. But the initial inspiration was my dog for that song.
Nice.
3 a.m. and I Miss You is actually a song that I wrote for a friend who had some quarantine love fall through. So that's actually not about me. Yeah, so that one's a true story.
That quarantine love ain't easy.
It's not. Quarantine love is not easy.
I was lucky enough. It's different. I know I'm looking at Dale because he lives with his girlfriend, but the person, I am the worst person to be around for too long. I need my space. Yeah. So I could see if you were trapped in a room with somebody. Yeah. Like, yo, get out of my face.
That's why I only see Mike like once a month.
I hate you.
Got you. Just for the pod.
Yeah. I'm in and I'm out.
Yeah.
We're done, Mike.
Actually, it's been a little too long. You think you get the fuck out of
here? It's getting a little antsy.
Yeah.
Then I released Feel Anything, and that song at this point is 2021. Feel Anything might have been written in 2017.
Damn.
Actually, 2018.
How long have you been doing this overall, Cook? Like your first song. What was your first song?
It's funny. If a certain person's watching this, they're gonna laugh. So my first song was actually Where My Body Is Carried on SoundCloud. I put it on private, so don't go looking for it.
Okay, all right.
So
is it that bad?
It's not bad. It's just I wouldn't want someone to listen to it coming across me for the first time. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
Well, the first time for everything is just massively embarrassing because I'm sure the way you were going into it, I mean, I'm going to just guess because I'm thinking about the way I had first gone into this making a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, you have all these ideas and how it's going to sound and how it's going to come out and how, confident and charismatic you're going to be.
Right,
and
right.
it's like,
it was weird.
Just a disaster.
we were on Skype. Right. And
yeah.
he was like, bro, you just gotta make a song. And I was like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, this is like the very, very, very beginning. So he was like, yo, make a song, blah, blah. So we made the song kind of together over Skype. He was helping me with lines and stuff. And then I recorded it on my shitty laptop. I had a microphone similar to this, and I had a pop filter that had pantyhose on it.
That's awesome.
I made a hanger. I bent a hanger in a circle and I wrapped it around my mic and I had pantyhose over it. I remember asking my mom, like, you have pantyhose you're not going to wear? She was like, sure.
How old are you?
Like I said, this might have been middle school.
Oh, my God.
She didn't have any follow-up questions?
Well, that's so smart.
Well, she walked in my room. She walked in my room and saw it and then she was
makes
like,
sense.
Right,
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Just a weird request from like a young son.
It was YouTube. YouTube told her, like, if you don't have a pop filter, you can use pantyhose. And I'm like, this is
That's
great.
really smart. I wouldn't have
That's
thought
awesome.
about that.
Yeah. So
keep that in mind.
Definitely use it. I think
pair of
save the
underwear,
$12
right?
and go get a real pop filter because the pantyhose doesn't go that hard. But it was something. So I recorded it over that, and then I put it up on SoundCloud like that night because now I don't have to deal with going through DistroKid and like then they upload stuff like that. SoundCloud you could just upload and the second it was done.
Yeah. How does that work with DistroKid? Because I see a lot of your work on YouTube, and it says provided by DistroKid?
Yeah, so basically
They just do that for you?
DistroKid makes everything easy. Yeah, I upload the song to them, and then they...
Oh, they're like a host?
Yeah, and then they upload it to everything else.
Oh, it's kind of like Anchor and everything else for like podcasts.
So that's all they do. TuneCore and DistroKid are the two biggest ones.
Yeah.
I didn't go with TuneCore because you have to pay $10 every song you upload, and at the end of the year, you have to recoup all of those songs. So if you release 1,000 songs, it's like a... what, 10,000? No, not $10,000.
That's still
like
way too much.
Yeah, whatever.
Forget that.
Anyway,
it's not worth it.
But it's like for bigger artists, it's better because it's like, oh, I can just pay $1 million right now and have my catalog stay up. But they also pay every Friday, so they gather all the streaming that happened that week, and then you get a check every Friday regardless.
Oh, okay.
DistroKid, their payment is delayed by 2 to 3 months based off the stores. So like that's kind of the difference. But I pay $30 a year and I can upload as much as I want.
That's nice.
So that's why I'm like, the focus for me right now is not the money. That's why I'm kind of just like, let me just be able to upload as much music as I can.
Yeah.
And hopefully catch the right ears.
Good experience. So since middle school, what is that?
Too long.
12 years?
No, middle school is 3, high school is 4, that's 7, college is another 4, that's 11, right?
Yeah.
And then we got some poetry before that. I don't know, my whole life. My whole life.
No kidding. Yeah, this thing you were first passionate about. How would you describe your music as a genre? Would you just go with straight rap, or if somebody was asking you, what would you say? Because I wouldn't personally. For me, it doesn't seem like just
I
that.
rap, but like my music isn't rap.
You and this might be just the way your voice sounds, But you almost kind of sound. You have a little bit of a Kid Cudi thing going.
I get that a lot.
Do you get that
So
a lot?
I
Do
do.
you
I get
hate that?
Yeah.
Do you hate that?
No, I
Okay,
love it.
good. I was
He's
gonna say, I
one
love
of my
Kid
main
Cudi.
influences.
Okay,
Yeah, if
that's-
Kid
that's-
Cudi, if
that
you
was-
ever come across this video, hit me up.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
like
seriously.
I always like his new album was pretty good too, and I always feel he tells a
amazing.
good story. And like you seem to be the same, and I'm always into that. Like I appreciate
Yeah.
that when you can just tell a story in an album.
So my main, I don't know if we went over this last time, but my main influences.
No, that's actually was going to be my next question. Is
Yeah.
who inspires you? You know.
So there's a couple of people on both fronts, acting and music, and they all kind of correlate into what you see
go
today.
over those.
So in music, I would have to say, actually, let me see if I can. I was talking to my friends about this the other day. Let me see if I can find the conversation, because
everybody's got to,
I have my initial what initially inspired me, and then I have like a list of like as I got older what continued to inspire me, because I feel like continuous inspiration is important, but your roots are also important too. I don't know how to explain it, but like you should always be
helps you
inspired.
expand like your toolkit, so to speak. Like,
Oh my God, it's huge.
I'm not gonna be able to find this.
But
anyway, I guess. Hold on, wait. Maybe.
was it like a song?
No, it was. I had like a list already written out, but I wasn't expecting this question. Anyway. Oh wait, there it is.
Oh.
All right, bet. So, music inspiration. I would have to
Nice.
say bass would have to be Kanye, Cudi, Lil Wayne, Andre
In that order?
3000. Not in this order.
Okay,
just
okay.
like
In
general.
general.
Andre 3000 and Lupe. I'd say
Okay.
those 5 people from a bass.
Lupe is amazing.
Yeah, Lupe
Fiasco,
doesn't
I
get
mean-
enough respect, in my opinion.
It's like my high school soundtrack was pretty much Lupe.
Lupe and Cudi. I think that's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
people's high
Cudi.
school soundtrack.
yeah, and then Kanye in there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I know. Every time I think of it, this is a weird correlation, maybe, but every time I think of America, I think of Kanye. No, but not in the sense of like. You got don't. It depends on how you take that as I say it. But what I'm saying is, American culture was so defined by Kanye West's music more so
At
than a
some
lot
point,
of people
yeah.
understand.
That's true.
Like
That's
I'm
true.
talking like East Side, like East Coast. Because I mean, I lived in Portugal for years prior to coming here,
okay.
and like it was just so like, what was that one song? All those songs with Azelle. What was that song you made with Azelle? What was her name? Azelle or Gazelle or? Oh God, American Boy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it? What's her name? Is it Giselle?
I don't,
Look
I
that
don't
up for
think
a
so.
second. I'm
I do know her
now.
name because she also
Estelle.
she sung the main song for Steven Universe, right? She also sung the theme song for that.
I think so.
That's the song I'm thinking about.
You'll be my American boy.
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all those songs from like the early 2000s was like
That was a prolific era though. For
culturally
like, music in general.
that was the United States at the time. I feel like to me.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean? In a big way.
I know, but
What do you mean?
but then you just think of
You
Kanye
can, if
now.
you just say Kanye is America,
Yeah,
I think
now.
it get,
Well,
Yeah.
hey, if you didn't vote for Kanye, then
Yeah. That man is something else.
a genius though.
He is. No,
I
he
think
is.
so.
genius.
I love Kanye.
As I got older,
I still like him now. I mean,
yo, me too. I don't
it's
think I'll
like-
ever not like Kanye
Yeah.
unless he does something crazy. But
Well, look at his lifestyle. He should be crazy.
no,
Like, why-
I mean
you know
crazy
what I
is like, all right, Kanye. Like,
Yeah, like
I'm
chill
done.
out.
Like,
Yeah, like crazier than one.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's married to Kim, so like, is he still?
yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
He has every right to be nuts.
Yeah, and famous kids. Having famous kids, I couldn't even imagine. That must be a
Yeah.
whole nother like.
How old are
realm.
his kids now?
Old.
Really?
I don't know. Probably like 12.
What do you mean by
Probably.
famous? I haven't seen any of their stuff. Like they're putting out good like.
His kids. I don't
movies
think
or-
they're. I don't think they're like entertainers.
They're
right
just
now.
No.
Instagram probably famous just
Probably.
because they're kids,
Kids
of famous
and-
people.
Nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh yeah,
Um,
keep going. Sorry.
No, it's good. As I got older, obviously Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, Travis, and Russ. I think those. Moved
Russ
in.
came up in a big way recently. I feel like
Yeah.
Russ in the last 2 years, really.
Yeah, 2017 I think was his
3
breakout
years?
year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And just the message in his music, the fact that he does everything, because I feel like I have to do a lot of my own stuff as well. I don't know. It's just he makes good music. You know what I mean? Like
Hands down.
yeah. It's just.
I mean,
and that's all I'm about.
well,
is
that's
just good
that's
music.
kind of why I was asking, because he's really set a standard in the music industry from a consumer standpoint, at least from my standpoint. From an artist standpoint, I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but he focuses a lot on those singles. I think, right?
Mhm.
Does he often do albums?
Well, his whole. I think it's just how he came up because like that was his. I think he did a single a week for like 2 years straight.
But what he turned people onto, I think, in a big way, was how powerful an independent artist can be. And I think because so
Absolutely.
many
He's
artists,
like the top independent like.
right? So many artists will go right for that record company, the label, and then lose a lot of their rights in that, and they get money and fame in it, but at the same time they don't. I don't know, the work, I feel like lacks the authenticity that it might have in the beginning, because they have to make the music for the label versus this is what they're doing. Because I know Russ also has a fantastic reputation of making his own beats and producing his own music entirely, like yourself.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to how rap is sometimes. Sometimes, like, no one's going to give you anything. You have to. Yeah. And I shouldn't even say rap. That's just art. Right. No one's going to give you anything. Yeah. You have to make it out of thin air. And I think he's a good study of how that happens, can happen, and has happened, Yeah. So, then for acting, I would say my base inspirations would be Will Smith, Chris Rock, Jim Carrey, Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. And as I got older, Jake Gyllenhaal, Morgan Freeman, Samuel, and Denzel Washington. So those are my...
Wait, go over the actors again. Spaced out shit.
No, it's okay.
You got a pretty good list there. I like
it was. If I can see if I can remember, it was Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, and then as I got older was Denzel Washington.
Say Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
You know who's somebody I didn't like in the beginning, but later really started to enjoy is Christopher Waltz. He's the character from Django.
Oh,
he's the white guy from Django.
And the bad guy
played
from Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds.
I have yet to see that movie. My girlfriend keeps telling me I need to see that.
Anything Quentin Tarantino has always been something I've loved, because he just doesn't care about the boundaries of society's like standards. He will just make something so cringy, but at the same time, it's like exciting. I don't know.
He makes a lot of work that like.
Was it Hateful Eight that he made recently?
Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Have you seen the extended version? The extended version.
Yeah,
is good.
Freaking.
I think it's on Netflix.
I've seen it. I didn't even know
that movie had more hooks in it than I could even ever possibly fathom.
There's so many star-studded actors in there too. What was it? Who was God? What was the guy who played Magic Mike? I always forget his name.
Channing Tatum was there. Yeah, that blew my mind. Like, he just shows up out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, that movie is full of surprises. It's greatly written. But that's just Tarantino for you.
Yeah, in a nutshell. I've yet to see. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I haven't seen it either. I know a lot of people were upset at that movie though. They were upset at that movie because I guess the way. Well, I guess everyone who was a Bruce Lee fan was upset. Yeah, because I guess they portrayed him not correctly. So.
And there's a whole big scene where was it?
I saw a small clip. I think I know what you're talking about.
Not DiCaprio's character, but the other guy. He fights
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee, and they were like real guys in real life. And the way the fight went down in the movie is totally different than the way it went down in real life, and it's a whole.
Well, I think that's what it was, because Bruce Lee is a fucking legend. I mean,
it's the man
of both from the physical and like the philosophical realm of things. He really, I mean, there's so many great pieces of work from him, right? Didn't he do a lot of speeches too and stuff?
I think so. Yeah, I think one of his most famous quotes is like "Be like water."
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Everyone knows that one. Yeah,
like water.
Yeah, he's freaking OG. I wanted to ask. We were talking about music too. Who do you think won? Because that happened a while ago, but I always like asking people just to see what they say between MGK and Eminem. Who run that rap battle?
Okay, you can't win against Eminem. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
You can't win against.
Thank
Eminem.
you.
Yeah, you don't win.
We appreciate that here, because I had an argument, but these were kids, because we taught this high school, middle school class. I've had this argument with a few people, and people are like, "Oh no, man, MGK." I'm like, "What?" I looked on the comments for there was this hilarious comment underneath "Kill Shot." Was it "Kill Shot"?
Yeah, by Eminem.
Yeah, by Eminem, and it said Eminem should just make a diss track about COVID.
I mean, that came out.
Yeah, Nat is. Have you listened to the new album?
No, what was that?
Oh, Nat is good.
He did a B-side of Music to Get Killed By.
To be murdered by.
Who was that? Oh, Eminem?
Eminem, yeah, it's a B-side to his album.
That album in general is really good, but Nat song is terrific.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a listen.
Yeah, growing up with him coming up too was really great. Like 8 Mile. He's another one. He's a pretty damn good actor.
I honestly think they're between like the age I grew up in and like how so many like musicians were acting and vice versa. Like there was no, with all my inspirations, I was going to end up doing both. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
you said Will Smith is one of
your Will Smith. Like the first movie I ever saw in theaters was I remember my parents telling me it was Wild Wild West. I was still a baby.
Oh,
that's
dude.
That was the first
favorite
time I ever saw Will Smith as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I saw it in theaters.
Yep, I saw it in theaters. I was like a baby, and I think ever since it was just the seeds.
Yeah.
Ever since then it was.
No, he's always been one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. Oh, so hot. This is a shame I could forget Michael Jackson above everybody.
Oh yeah.
So like
Michael,
I don't know how that that slip.
Especially
You know
from
what?
a performance
Slip the
aspect. Oh yeah. No,
He-
Yeah. So
Michael Jackson's one of those artists to me that his best songs were not popular. Like I feel like, well, no, but what I'm saying is that his best songs, I feel like some of the songs that he made should have been more popular than the ones that got popular. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, I mean,
they don't
every
really
artist,
care
I feel
about
like
they don't really
that.
care about us. Like they
Yeah.
had that rendition when he was in Brazil. It was just such a
Oh,
freaking
yeah,
awesome song.
with
But
all
he
the
also
kids
did
and stuff.
he did a prison version.
I think
as well.
anyone that does like heartfelt music or like music that means something, those songs are always gonna get slept on.
Yeah.
Like if you look
Yeah.
at Kendrick as an artist, there's a million songs that should be amazing that people are like, oh, it's okay, or J. Cole or Eminem. At least there's a bunch of songs I feel like every artist has that everyone's like, it's a good song, it has a good meaning, but this song over here, you know.
Yeah.
And then the other song, meanwhile, the song that they like is just like nonsense. It's just garbage.
so-
It just has a good beat. And it's like,
That's also why I try and do both. I try and
Yeah.
make sure that the song has a message, but is also enjoyable
Yeah.
to listen to.
yeah, you gotta have a good balance between it. Like,
Yeah.
Eminem, I think, is good at that. Like, it's funny.
Well,
a lot
like
of the other artists
telling
who
a
you
story.
mentioned, I like that too. What are you saying, Mike? Sir?
Well, telling a story, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Super important. It's the number one thing people actually care about. Whether you're watching TV, reading a book,
Mhm.
talking to someone, story and story structure is how we get through life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's one of those things people don't realize. Like, you care about it without even realizing you care about it.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think people realize the reason you don't like that movie or the song is because it's not gravitating you. It's like
It doesn't
keeping you-
connect or
yeah,
anything,
It's
yeah.
not like you're not connected.
Like if
at
you
all.
got a coffee this morning and they messed up, like all you're thinking about in the ride is like, I can't wait to tell someone how
Yeah,
much they
this
messed
is-
up my
yeah,
coffee.
yeah,
And
exactly,
it's just
yeah.
like,
Is it
Yeah.
funny you say that? Dude?
Yeah,
That's
so
so true.
it's
Oh my
just like
God.
we love stories no matter
And
the
how
form.
funny is it that messing up a coffee is a kind of a big deal?
Oh, of course.
Like,
People,
I'm a little-
America runs on Dunkin'. It's literally
Dude,
America's slogan.
yeah, like it's just such a bummer.
Absolutely.
when your
Especially
coffee
when you say it
sucks.
clearly.
Yeah.
You're like, I would like this coffee with this in it.
Can I have a black iced coffee?
And they give
go,
you like a hot chocolate. And you're like,
give you a
even listen?
donut.
Yeah.
Like what's this?
Give you a bagel and a hot chocolate. And you're like, I wanted a donut and a coffee.
They give you a bagel with cream cheese,
no drink.
no drink. What
But-
the hell is going on here?
It's also though you shouldn't expect like top tier service
no.
from a place that's not
Honestly,
top
it's
tier.
really
Yeah.
what it boils down to is you're just being ungrateful. It's
Yeah, like you don't like if you had to
You live in
Outback Steakhouse, they're
Right.
Yeah.
paying attention. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's okay. That's why I like. It's always annoying, and like they probably should do what you ask them to, but all at the same time,
But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like you pick.
Well, you
go home and
also-
do it yourself.
Yeah.
What you want to really set that perspective when you're getting heated is I live in a country where I can drive up to a building and they just hand me food.
yeah,
You know what I
give them
mean?
money
for
and
exchange
it's
for
like-
paper.
As
Yeah,
an exchange for almost theoretically nothing on a fundamental level. It's just an exchange of time. It's like, okay, I spent a little bit of time getting this. Could I have that? And it's like,
Right.
see you
Put
later.
my card in there. All right, see you later.
Thanks for like real food. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when in your I don't want to call it a career, right? In your musical journey, we'll
Yeah.
say, what were you most moved, or when you really thought, all right, this is something I'm going to be doing probably for the rest of my life?
It was
Like
the first
moved
time I
by
was on
your
stage. I think.
by your own.
Very
art.
first time I was on stage, and it was just receiving like having an audience clap.
Yeah.
When they were clapping and I was done with my performance, there was like I still have a hard time describing that feeling because it was just that moment where I was like I'd want to do this like every night. You know what I mean? And it's nothing.
It's like a drug almost.
Yeah,
Just keep
it's
chasing that
nothing
high.
I've done has
Yeah.
come close to that except for like sports. I would say honestly I think I'm just a competitor.
What'd you play?
I was a wrestler.
No
I
kidding.
played football, but I was a wrestler.
Mm.
Yeah. And mixed martial arts after that, and still currently, but I haven't.
Do you do
practiced in a
anything
while.
right now?
Right now,
Like just UFC, not UFC, but
I was
MMA.
I was a couple months ago. A couple of guys that I work with also do MMA, and
Were
we
you
had
in
some mats.
Link or 10th Planet or?
No, I didn't. I never went to 10th Planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right now, I'm a free agent of sorts. I have a
Gotcha.
gym. I got to hit up my coach, and then we got to get some stuff done. But I haven't been able to really.
No, that's
flex up.
what you need, man.
Oh,
Get some
probably.
sweat
Oh, yeah.
going,
Just
you
gotta
know
beat
what I
somebody
mean?
up. That's it. That's all I need.
Honestly,
That's all it
though,
takes
it's amazing how quickly you can change your day around. I mean, I tell people that all the time. Just by work up your heart rate and keep it sustained, an elevated heart rate
Right.
sustained for a prolonged period of time can change the quality of your day entirely, even if it's just for 10, 20 minutes.
It's hard because it's no excuse, but I have a hard time finding time.
Yeah.
I work.
Oh yeah.
I work 11 and a half hours a day, 10 and a half hours a day, building trains.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
So,
you spend that
and
much
then-
time doing that.
I have to come home, be a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then be a musical artist.
Yeah.
And then be Jaden and then be, you know what I mean? It's a lot. So it's like, I kind of have to pick and choose.
Yeah, like you could probably fit, but it's not. It's
if
not
I fit everything in, I would be miserable. If I tried to fit every single thing in. And like every day, like I can't do everything. So some things I'm like, I'm not doing this today because it's like, this is what's important to me, you know? So I think until being an artist is hard when you're not established or have, you know, a wealthy base or whatever you want to call it, because you have to still live a normal life on top of it.
Still have to have a job and everything.
Yeah, like
be on that grind, so to speak. Like,
once if I could be an artist full time, not have to worry about bills or anything, like life would be like
well,
it'd be amazing. If I could just wake up and just make music, go be in a movie, come home, and then live normal life. Great, right? But
that's the goal.
Yeah, that is the goal.
Well, I'm sure that certainly is something that kind of goes through your mind as you think to yourself, well, imagine if I had these 10 hours to do anything else.
Well, this week is proven. If I had those 10 hours, I would probably just lay in bed because I did have a week off. But I think honestly, I just needed to relax because I was coming home from work, working on the album, then going back to sleep to wake up for 5 a.m. again to go do it all over again. I'm a trainer at my job, so I have a little more responsibility. We're the only place that builds trains in the country, so it's just like a lot of
really,
it's a lot of responsibility.
The whole country.
We're the only place that builds trains in house. Yeah,
wow.
Like trains are built usually outside the U.S. We're the only manufacturing company in the U.S. Yeah,
that's fascinating.
It sucks.
How much?
No, but I can imagine it's gonna be a lot. So
it's a lot of fun because you get to build something people will ride. You know what I mean, and it's not a skill everybody has.
Well, definitely keep doing the music thing because
as soon as
obviously,
no,
no, it's all
right. Yeah.
I love my job. No.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great place.
Right? Yeah. So.
They're like, hey, well, I saw you on a podcast the other day.
Right.
Smile and wave.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, my point is that what you're doing is done at such a high level that it's only time that you lack as far as how much longer before.
I hope so. That's,
you know what I mean?
The plan.
You don't even. I don't even think you have to hope. It's just you just do
Appreciate
that.
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you as well as myself because I feel like there's a lot of times that people in your life, including yourself, who's the most important, right, in this situation, that will convince you otherwise.
Oh
and
yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm impenetrable when it comes to that. I've had so many people be like, "What do you want to do?" And I tell them, and they're like, "What else do you want to do?" And it's just like that being an artist, like. That's the first thing you got to kill out of yourself is any self-doubt, because if you have any self-doubt, the doubt people add to it is just going to be the right.
Well, that's just the thing, man. People, it's not if you're hoping people will support you, just don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't count.
If you have any ounce,
don't count on that. It's and it's not, and I don't say that in a sad way. I say that more as a to supplement your own self-esteem, because your self-esteem is usually going to derive from what your expectations are in a sense.
Of course.
And if
I feel like every person should feel like they're the best at what they do.
Yeah,
all the time.
and just carry it out. I can't say enough things about that, because with your career and your skill, I mean, it's just a matter of continuing to do it, and I can't imagine the switching of it. Because I'm obviously still here. I have my day job as well. But the point is that that if it wasn't for doing what you love, then what would be the point of doing what you hate,
Exactly. Yeah, it's ends to a means until the means meet the end, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like...
Very well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So it's like we all have dreams, and the people who are kind of halfway doing them while living their day job, like some of those people get lucky enough to leave the day job aside and go follow their dreams.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of just doing. The universe doesn't give anything away for free, and if it does, it'll take it back as quickly as it gave it
exactly.
to you. So.
Exactly. And hard work does always pay off in that sense too.
Hard work works hard when talent right? Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
That's true.
Yes.
And talent doesn't work if you're lazy.
Exactly.
That's another big one.
Unless you're extremely lucky. I feel like there's some people now who just they wake up, they do something, it's amazing, and then they just Some people I feel like are just that.
Well, we do.
I don't know, lucky, talented. I don't even know what the word is.
Yeah,
they just
it comes down to understanding what makes, like, getting really deep into the fundamentals of what makes your piece of work gain traction in this fully automatic world, in that sense of everything is this attention-based economy that is facilitated by social media algorithms. If you're able to, in a sense, find a way to continuously put something out there that can reach as many people as possible, the odds increase for that being shared and those people's friends seeing.
The algorithm sucks though.
It does.
The algorithm only wants people to shine who are already shining. And they want you to prove, people who aren't shining, they want you to prove that you're dedicated to their app, their platform, before they'll put the shine on you. Yeah, exactly. Which I understand because it's a business.
And on top of that, they'll just get you like that movie on Netflix shows. Like they really at the end of the day, they just want the person using the app to get sucked into the app. So they don't care what they're showing you at the end of the day. Sometimes.
Yeah, they just like, you attract 30,000 people to your page. We need you to get more people on your page.
So you may have really good music, but it's much more beneficial for them to show some random video because they know based on the algorithm it's going to keep people there. Like
if we could have an app or a streaming service that somehow lets the people truly pick what's dope.
Well, I really was a fan of the way it was before, is when Facebook has been long gone from having this process, and Instagram just switched over to it. But before, things would come in your feed in reverse chronological order. What was latest post, and if you scroll down, you can see the things that were later posted, or more earlier posted rather.
Yeah, now I get things like that 2 days old. And
you'll get a post from 2 days ago, then one from an hour ago, then one from a week ago, and then one from 3 hours
ago. And it defeats the purpose because I don't know if it's still like this, but at a point, Instagram's algorithm was, all right. So if you you post a picture and how many likes you get in the first 10 minutes. That is based off. So say a picture gets 10 likes in 10 minutes. It'll only show 10% of your follower population that you posted. But if you had 100 likes in 10 minutes, then they're like, all right, this picture is good enough to show your entire follow base. Exactly. And it's dumb because it's like, if I have 10,000 followers and I post something, show my 10,000 followers. You know what I mean?
Like, you're following me to see the content.
Yeah. So it's like, why are you deciding? Like, maybe I posted it a weird, like, I don't know. It's
the same reason I subscribe to someone on YouTube. Is because I want to see when they post new shit. Like, I don't know.
Like, but the algorithm thinks like, oh, no, like, you want to see this person's post more. It's like, no, let me decide what.
That is true, because I have noticed, like, there's some people I follow where I'll notice, like, they'll be like, oh, I haven't seen them for a while. Then I'll go to their page. It's like, they have posted something. I just.
You get beat out by.
And if you notice.
Everything else.
If you go to their page, all of a sudden, the next couple of days, you'll start seeing stuff for this.
Yeah.
It's like the algorithm's like, well, if you don't personally go to this person's page, we're going to stop showing it to you because you obviously don't care. And it's like, that's not how people's interests work.
Yeah, it's tough, too, competing out there because you're competing with fat butts in politics.
Oh, you can't beat fat butts.
Those will always break through.
We must join the fat butts. That's the only way.
Yeah,
there's only one thing to do here, boys.
Yeah, my Instagram feed is dangerous. It is all over the place. From UFC to... Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing because, like, for instance, with the podcast's Instagram, I don't use it for liking anything other than the people that I follow. Sometimes I like those things, but on what the hell is it called? The magnifying glass, whatever you call it, the explore button is just women. And I've never used it for anything, and it's just butts and women dancing, and it's like, damn. Like, that's how saturated all these algorithms are.
They're terrible. They'll be the end of the algorithm era. I just don't know what it looks like, because before the algorithmic...
Algorithm. Ooh, that's tough.
See?
Algorithmic.
That one. Before that happened, I feel like becoming famous or becoming becoming famous or becoming like in the limelight was super hard.
Or getting recognized for what you did.
If you did it, it was because you did something truly amazing because it had to break through.
Yeah, you ain't shaking your ass on Instagram. And
it was just like, did you see this guy climb this 3,000-foot tower or some shit like that with his bare hands or something? Like, that's cool enough to put on. Now with algorithms, it's like, oh, butts are dope. Let me just post my butt.
Yep, butts, sex. Yeah, it's like the only thing driving the entire algorithm is sex.
And basically, if you make a platform that is too specific, like if there was a music platform where it was just for independent artists and you post your songs here, only people looking for independent artists will be on this app. You won't reach the people you're trying to reach. You're gonna reach the people who scour the internet for music, but that's only like 5%, maybe less 5%. Excuse me, of the people who listen to music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you create an app too specified, you're only going to get those people, and it's like you can only grow so much off of that fan base.
Yeah, it makes it really tough. And that's kind of the importance, back to what you were saying, of collaborating with people.
Exactly.
Because that's how you beat the algorithm. Is by
the only way to beat the algorithm.
It's the only way. I really think so myself, because if you really look at it, how else will you tap into a wider state of that algorithm without other people sharing to other people sharing to other people sharing? Like
exactly.
that, like them
working with yourself is like only throwing a party at your house and inviting everyone to your house and never going to anyone else's party.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, how are you going to get to know people? You're only going to meet the people
you're going to keep inviting the same people.
Yeah, and they're going to keep inviting the same people. Like, go to another party.
Yeah, exactly. But in some ways, it almost does, which is good to wrap. Well, to go on a high note for that is that if people do enjoy your content, odds are they'll always see it when you post it, no matter what.
Exactly.
Versus
and
it being
I think
bogged
that goes back
down.
to the I forgot who said the 1,000 true fan theory, where you only need 1,000 true fans to be successful in anything.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, 1,000 people that'll buy your merch regardless, 1,000 people that'll tune in regardless, and
sharing it, because then they have however many friends, and one of their friends potentially could share it, and that person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The exponential growth, like someone can become famous overnight if the people choose to make them famous overnight.
Yeah.
If it really comes down to that. Like, if you see a funny video and you post it, like, it's up to me to share it.
Look at these people who go viral for like slipping on a banana or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like now they like the whole rest of the week they're like, why am I viral for slipping on a banana?
The guy. Well, let's talk about what's his name. I can't think of his name, but the ocean spray guy in the skateboard.
Yeah, like he didn't know. He got a whole truck and a lifetime supply of juice.
Dogface.
Like,
yeah. Like I saw a video like a month ago. He was smoking weed and skating with Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, and it's like the world works so crazy because it's like 3 weeks prior to that, he probably was drinking juice on a skateboard. Like,
it's just like whatever. Like and now, like, not for nothing, but it's not like you really hear about him like right now. I'm sure he's doing maybe something. But
I'll guarantee he has so many sponsorships that he's chilling.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I feel like once you become something on the internet or anything, like, some company is gonna find you and be like, And
he wasn't trying either, so that's how you know. No. Like, he's probably he's like, I made way off better than I thought.
Think about how stoked Ocean Spray was.
Oh yeah.
Like, thank you so much.
How stoked Ocean Spray and
money.
Fleetwood Mac was. That song "Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac got 1 million downloads. I think more.
And that's why you have all these artists being like, please make TikToks to my song.
Yeah, Dogface, please take my song.
Think about how stoked Twisted Tea is right now.
Oh yeah.
Dude, their stock price went through the roof.
Dude, like, I was thinking that yesterday. I was laughing my ass off because not only is that like one of the funniest videos ever, how the hell did that guy make that can explode? Like, he must have had to hit
the velocity
so fucking hard.
Dude, I bet Robin Black made a video for it. I gotta share it. It's hilarious.
I gotta see that. Are you familiar with Robin Black?
I'm not, no.
Dude, he does like just the most hilarious commentary ever.
He's part of like Bellator. I don't know if
I
you follow
I don't watch too much Bellator. I do watch UFC though. I gotta start watching more Bellator.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen these things everywhere now, and I'm thinking to myself, how fucking funny that is that Twisted Tea just scored.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's everywhere. It's on every meme.
Yeah, everything.
It's probably the meme. It's like, I want to say it's the meme of December 2020, but it's definitely the meme of January 2021.
Yeah.
Like, you ever see those meme calendars?
Yeah.
Like, Twisted Tea's
gonna
be January.
You're right about
that. Because every time I look on any social media, there's at least even probably 3 or 4 people posting something that's Twisted Tea related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's proof to how quick something can blow up.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what it is. It's like, we chose to make that popular.
Yeah.
Someone saw that and was like, that's dope.
That's
someone
hilarious.
else saw that, that's dope.
And the back to the algorithm, it's, I think, why, because that came from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And how TikTok is such a great resource in the social media industry right now, or I shouldn't say the industry, but in the creative industry of people like yourself or myself or anybody who's putting out content. There's so many algorithms that aren't saturated yet. Like, YouTube is a tough one to become really successful on these days because YouTube's been around since before Facebook.
Yeah, so YouTube's solidified. I feel like you just get lucky. It's the way I feel like. And I haven't tried yet, but I do plan on getting on my YouTube this year. I think the key is just to be persistent.
Yeah.
Because, like, YouTube people, I feel like YouTube people start YouTube channels like every year.
Yeah.
And they probably only live for like 2 weeks before they give up on them. Mm-hmm. So I feel like in YouTube's defense, I understand why they're a little more snarky about who they give the love to on their platform, because it's like everyone's always trying to do this. But so you could say the same thing about Instagram.
And not for nothing, but they're really good about YouTube's really good about notifying you if you're subscribed to a channel. Like, not, and there's not. I mean, granted,
there was like a little period though where it was like when the belt icon first became a thing, and like people weren't getting like
notifications and stuff.
But I think ever since then it's been
pretty good. Like
so.
I like it because the people I follow, like I like knowing when they post. Like that's why I subscribe. So
right,
like they post something new. But
yeah, that's
maybe that's what Instagram's needing. Maybe like a bell service. But I mean, sometimes I do get like, oh, this person went live, and it's like,
I don't care about that. Yeah. Like always, like like I just don't always watch a live.
And then when you click on the live, they're usually like gone. It's
like,
did they go live for like 3
Facebook
seconds?
does that to me all the time. Like a couple people I know will stream like Warzone and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, let me just watch them to see what's going on. This is over. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why are you updating me now? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a bell feature on there.
So.
Well, they've had a big issue too recently with a lot of like porn stars and stuff. Like Instagram's been really hard on like sex workers, and it's
let
funny.
the booty out.
I know it's funny that they still have these girls. They still have these girls dancing, but yeah, actual porn stars and like sex workers can't get their stuff out, and they get basically like they just get put down and just like black. Like
they're gonna open up like awful. Instagram After Dark.
Yeah.
Or something.
OnlyFans basically. It's basically what OnlyFans is.
I know, dude. Really OnlyFans. What'd you say?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
That's another one.
Hacked my OnlyFans. My freaking my card got hacked by OnlyFans.
Really?
Yeah. You know that? I was thinking
you were signed up for Phoenix Marie, weren't you?
I have to freaking
Phoenix Marie? Is that something I have to look up?
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't know Phoenix Marie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Big booties. Ooh.
All right. Put that.
And did you hear that?
Yeah. No, she knows. Oh, she knows.
In trouble.
My girlfriend's well aware of my list.
No, but I got like slammed for $20, like 2 charges for $20 from an OnlyFans account. I'm like, what the hell?
Some of them are ridiculous, but I honestly kind of like it. Like it's cool to be able to support people like that. Like,
wait, is it only porn?
No, it's
anything.
You can make OnlyFans for anything.
Anything. You can do it for anything.
I think OnlyFans started off as like a Patreon type
kind of
deal.
Oh, I got you.
And then because I think Patreon is
what? Oh, it's probably this. I'm playing with
this. What is that?
Patreon is, I think, really big on like no sex work or anything.
It is,
anything like that. So then I think they were like, OnlyFans was like, I don't care.
Yeah, nip slips all you want, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know a lot of girls making a lot of money.
There's a couple girls I follow, like it's only like $5 for some of them. Like it's.
Dale's over here stimulating the economy.
Not that bad. They give out coupons,
and stickers. Yeah. Stickers,
but then they're
not each their own though.
Yeah, but like just like Patreon, like Uncle Joey's on Patreon now, and he's got one for like $1 or $2. But I support it because he's a comedian that I like, and it's like, go do it.
Right. And like some of the rewards can be really cool too. I was actually just watching a video on like how to make a successful Patreon and like the budgeting and stuff like that too. So
like I'm never spending like $10 or $20 a month, but like $1 or $5.
That's not bad at all.
I'll give it to you, even if I don't use it. I'll just give it to you to support you. Whatever.
Right. And you could go buy a chocolate bar for $1 or like lose $1 just walking the street. So
$5 and I get to see you in some hot clothes. Cool.
Yeah, that is true. You'll inevitably spend that money somewhere else, anyways. I mean, some of those because like Brian Callen's a fantastic comedian as well, and he's completely behind a paywall now. If you want to get to see him,
Patreon. Because
he's all Patreon.
What's his name?
Not Brian Callen.
No, Brian Callen.
I mean, not
Shab.
Shab anymore. Yeah.
No, it was. I forget what.
You know who's really coming up is a freaking hilarious comedian is Theo Von. Have you seen any of his
stuff?
No. Theo Von's so funny. What the hell was he talking about? I came across him on Facebook the other day, and he was talking about. I'm not gonna remember it because I'm on the spot.
No, you're good.
Damn it! What the heck was it?
He's from Louisiana, but he's got so many crazy stories.
I have to check him out. Another name I'll look up.
Yeah, Theo Von. He's funny. But yeah, here let's we're almost at 2 hours here, so you want to wrap this up?
Yeah,
man?
we'll go. Yeah.
Let's. If you could tell the whole world one thing, what would it be, Cookshort?
Wow.
Hit us.
Wow.
Hit us hard. Hit us hard.
Deep.
Because we went over some good stuff.
There's more
here,
just water in that cup that Mike's been drinking.
Well, it's
right.
Feeling a little
tell the
weird?
whole world. Listen to my music. No.
Album drop.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
All the links are below.
Don't give up. No matter what anybody says, anything is truly possible. Nothing isn't possible unless you haven't tried to do it. And love yourself.
There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that, man. Yeah.
It is.
I feel that so much, man, because I feel like the majority of people's limitations are given to themselves by themselves.
Of course. I mean, that's all limitations are.
Yeah.
And I think hold on, let me look at the song list just to bring it full circle. Each song represented something on the album, and I guess I'll leave you guys with that afterwards. So like Zone is a song just about being out of your zone, actually. dealing with depression and being, back to feeling good, back to feeling that. So that was, and like I said, I had a different song for the intro. I had First Take intro, but I took it off because I didn't think it fit the new form of what the album was going to be. So I replaced it with Zone, and I actually wrote Zone 2 weeks prior to the album coming out. It was the most recent song on this album. Titanic, I wrote, like I said, was one of the first ones to feel that I wrote, but the feel of the song was to feel like you were drowning, and that's why the violins are in the back are quiet, but the pitch of my voice and like the urgency of my voice is because the ship's sinking. No one on that ship was calm. You know what I mean? Even in a surreal moment, if you really think about a sink ship sinking could be beautiful. Pinocchio follows up after that. That song's just about not feeling in control about my own life or my own destiny, and I feel like we can all feel like that.
What a name then. That's
a great like connection.
Like I said, there's so many. I actually thought about writing a cover letter for the album because there's so many things that I put into it that I feel
it's not a bad idea. I mean, that's one of the cool things I like about Spotify with some of their stuff. They do, I forget what they call it, but with some of their songs, like you can read behind like the lyrics, kind of.
Yeah,
and I'm always interested in that.
Means.
It's really cool. Yeah.
If I ever got on Rap Genius, I think I would kill it. Like, and he definitely need. What's up? Like. So then we kind of have the middle of the album, and I rap in the first half, and I kind of sing in the later half. So we have the therapy interlude, which originally wasn't going to be on the project. I had a friend of mine listen to a bunch of songs, and then this song started playing, and he was like, "Why don't you put this one on?" And it was more of a song that was literally therapy for myself. I was written during the night. I couldn't write a song at all, and this was kind of what came out of it. And I had it on my computer, and then I thought this would be a good spot to put it on the album and in the place. So that's the therapy interlude. Then we have Space, one of my personal favorites on the song. It's just about feeling like wanting to escape or getting away.
That was a really good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And obviously Space is as far as you can get away from the planet Earth.
Yeah.
So. Then we have Butterfly, a single for the project, and that's just songs about changing, going through metamorphosis, Butterfly.
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
such
that.
a great, I like that.
Thank you.
I'm glad you having you on and saying that, because that's such a great name for a song that represents that too. Because talk about, but I mean, butterflies in general. It's such a change.
It is.
It's probably the most drastic out of all creatures.
Caterpillar, and then you go hide away, and then when you come out, you look completely different.
Growing some motherfucking wings,
and you
like,
fly.
Yeah. And you can fly. And so I feel like that's so important because in life we go through so many of those changes, and people forget that they can fly afterwards. You know what I mean? So, and then we have Still Sad, which is basically coming back to the whole project being like, I understand why everything's going on, but I'm still feeling this way.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
I feel like a lot of people are still trapped in.
It's deep.
In
There's a lot of depth to that,
Absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of value of that album comes from. You know what I mean? Because you can you tell the story. You can tell there's that depth. To have this, at least as somewhat of this podcast rather, as somewhat of a explanation for that, I think is really cool too. I think a lot of people who enjoy your music, who tune in, would really love to hear it. Because how often do you get to hear an artist talk about a song that he made that was moving to you? You know what I mean?
Almost don't. Or they'll give you the intro like, I woke up.
Yeah.
I made it. Like,
just woke up.
I went
this is
to
what
bed.
happened.
Yeah.
This is just, they came to me, and this is it.
This is it. So, and
flick some switches.
my
and here we are.
main goal, no matter what I do in life, is to inspire. Because when I was first inspired by someone, it felt like I was given hope,
Yeah.
Because you give someone an idea, a dream, or anything, and they can watch it grow and come to fruition, and it can literally save lives. So I feel like that's the main point. Music, acting, whatever. I just want to inspire, whether it's good for bad or anything.
I like that. I like that a lot. Inspiration is huge, and it's definitely in demand. There's not enough of it, I think. At least it doesn't seem like it in a sense, because there's just, I mean, yeah, we could talk all day about, people not really putting enough faith in themselves. You know what I mean? They believe in a lot of things, but not themselves. It's huge, man. Well, you do a good job of it, because I think if anybody were to look into what you do, they'd be immediately inspired.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Yep. Go to I could do a little plug.
Check it out.
Spotify. Go listen to the album.
Everything's below.
Yep. I had a little issue getting on iTunes and Apple Music, but that'll be resolved shortly. So the album will be up on there. Make sure you go listen to my past albums on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, guys, you know where to go. Show them some love. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And thank you, Cook, for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me again. Yeah. Can't wait.
This is good.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys. Have a great day.